10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Yeah, I totally
That
hit the
music
wrong
was a
clip
good
there. Yeah, it's not bad. That's free music off of YouTube too. They got thousands and thousands and thousands of free songs you can download directly off of YouTube. You
I
go
was
to your
over here trying to do the MC Hammer dance.
yeah, it works. I can do the MC Hammer to that. Although that side shuffle he does from side to side, I can't do that one.
I used to be able to do it perfectly growing up.
The MC Hammer square, I can do that one.
Mhm.
That one I can do all day long. But that side shuffle in the parachute pants, yeah, that one I can't do. So anyway, welcome people. How's everybody's weekend going? Everybody out there in the chat, everybody here. Hope you guys are having a good weekend. I had a pretty good weekend today. So I had the start of a good week. I had a good Saturday. Let me say that correctly, ladies and gentlemen. I woke up this morning. I slept until about 9, which is pretty good for me. Woke up, watched some Stargate Atlantis. I'm currently binge watching Stargate Atlantis because it's a show that I never saw past the first season back in the day. And I'm on the 3rd season now. So I've been binge watching that off and on today. Went out, ran some errands. Got to go by my favorite toy store.
Hell yeah.
Quinn's Comics. Quinn, you in the chat, seen Quinn. He hops into the chat sometimes to say hello. So I got to go hang out with him for about an hour, and honestly, we talked more about politics and stuff than we did about toys. But I got to hang out with Quinn for a little bit and talk and shoot the shit. I bought a couple things, which I'll show you guys later, that I picked up from Quinn. He had a couple of loose figures that I wanted to add to my collection for a great price. And so I picked those up. It was pretty cool. And we had some good conversations. And then I came back home. Me and my wife got some Chick-fil-A. I got one of their it's that time of year where they have the peach shakes. I don't know if you guys have ever had it. It's the best damn milkshake I've ever had in my life. It's like a peach flavored milkshake, but with like real bits of peach in there. If you don't like peaches, then you won't like it, but I could eat a peach for hours.
Yeah, I was just fixing to say the same thing, fucker.
But anyway, I like peaches.
Never had a milkshake.
The fruit and the humankind. But
so what you're saying is
get your mind out of the gutter, people. But I love Chick-fil-A when they twice a year. Well, they do like special shakes for each season. I don't care about the one they put out, the Shamrock. It's not called the Shamrock Shake. That's the McDonald's one. But they do some kind of shake for early spring or something. And then they do one like a peppermint chocolate shake for Christmas. I don't like those. But the one they do, that's the peach shake in the summer. And then I think in the fall they do like a key lime shake. Those are delicious. Those are my favorite shakes that exist. So I got to have one of those with a nice spicy chicken sandwich, spicy chicken deluxe. It was great. And then I came home and watched some more Stargate Atlantis, and now we're here. So my Saturday's been pretty good. What can I say?
What you're saying is Chick-fil-A milkshakes brings all the boys to the yard.
It does. It brought me to the yard. That's for sure. So that's good. That's all that matters. But yeah, it's a pretty good weekend so far. But y'all aren't here to talk about your weekend, or maybe you are. I don't know. We're here to talk about geek stuff, and we got a few things to discuss today.
I still got to get your damn package in the mail.
Yeah, I want to get that. I want to get your package, sir.
Yeah, you do, big boy.
I need to get your package in my box, sir.
You do. My wife's been having me do a bunch of honeydew list shit since I've been, doing a lot better from recovery. So it's been super busy lately. Like I had to dig a trench dig up a pipeline for my drain for my washer
Mm-hmm.
and fix it. And I've been working on that for a couple of days.
I love it. It's like I know you just had surgery a month ago, but you're good enough. Can you go outside and dig a trench now, babe?
It's got to lay that pipe somewhere.
I mean, the way she does it is, you know, she'll go out there to start it, and I'll be like, "Fuck, I'll do it." Shit.
Well,
That's how she entices me to do it.
I mean, honestly, it's probably the only time you're getting to lay any pipe. So,
oh no, I got to lay some good pipe on my anniversary. So
okay, well that's good. That's good. But before we get started, Tim, you had something you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, actually, a few things I want to talk about.
Okay, let's go. Let's do this.
come on.
First off, I watched.
Sisu.
In the camera. I watched this evening. Just watched it. It's finished like 10 minutes ago.
Damn
Great
good
movie. Highly recommend.
It's a fantastic movie. It's really
Yes,
good.
it is.
Nobody's had a chance to see it.
What movie?
I know we talked about it the week after it came out or something. When I don't know. It took me a couple weeks to finally watch it after it came out because I didn't go to the movie to see it.
What movie?
It's called Sisu. It's a movie. Is it? Where is he supposed to be from? Is he from the Netherlands? Finland. He's Finnish. It takes place like right at the end of World War II when the Germans are all like leaving everywhere that they had occupied, and he is a Finnish colonel or something.
Commando.
I can't remember. And anyway, he's just like now he's no longer the military, and he's like hunting for gold. And on his way to try and get his gold home that he's found, he runs into some Nazis that are like on their way out of the country and just like trying to cause as much damage and rape and pillage their way out of Finland. And of course, they want to take his gold. And it's just a beautiful symphony of just massive carnage and dead Nazis. It's great because he's like this badass Finnish special forces commando dude who just wants to be left alone and wants to get his gold back.
He's a Finnish John Wick.
Yeah, and it's produced by the people that did John Wick, so it's got lots of great action in it. It's just a fun action movie with lots of dead Nazis, which always adds to a fun action movie, I think.
That landmine
Except for that one Nazi he left for the girls.
Yes.
That
landmine scene was fucking awesome.
Yes, it was.
Oh yeah, it was.
Every scene was awesome from beginning to end. The movie's just great. It's just a fun action movie. I do question the realism of him getting on that plane with a.
Yes.
Oh, I do too.
It's in English. You don't have to read subtitles or anything.
No. It's
in English.
I mean, everybody has accents because it sounds like they got. I mean, he really is Finnish. That actor. He's been in other stuff before. He's been in a few movies. I've seen him before. Also, his son too is another actor who played one of the Nazis in the movie. That was his son. Cool. The tank driver. That's his real life son. They actually act in a lot of movies together. They're both rather famous.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, that's his son. And what's funny about it is his son looks like straight up native, which means, and that dude's white as hell. And so that means I don't know who he married, but he anyway, because you would not think that's his son by looking at him, but they've been in a lot of movies together since his son was like 10 years old. I don't know if you guys remember the movie. I can't remember the name of it. It's the movie about where Sam Jackson plays the president and somebody attacks Air Force One and he ejects. He has to eject over Finland in the Air Force One pod or whatever, and he lands in the middle of the forest. And this boy who's like 12 years old finds him and helps him survive while the terrorists are trying to kill the president in the middle of the Finnish forest. I can't remember the name of it, but it's a Sam Jackson movie. Came out about 6-7 years ago. Anyway, it's a really good movie. And that's the kid when he was like 12. And that guy from Sisu plays his dad in the movie who sends him out into the woods to learn how to survive. And while he's out there, he finds the president's survival pod and helps Sam Jackson survive the movie.
That's a movie called Presidents on a Plane.
Presidents on a Plane. I mean, that's not it, but that would have probably been a better title.
Right.
I don't remember that at all. Was it a comedy or was it like a real?
I don't
Action
remember
It was an action. It was an action movie. Yeah.
Was it straight to cable or something? Or
I don't think it went to the movies, but
yeah,
I mean, it might have. It did have Sam Jackson in it. I never saw it at the movies. I mean, I didn't know it ever went to the movies. I didn't see it until it was streaming. But
I can't look that up.
It's actually a good movie. But anyway, the dude from Sisu is in the movie. He's only in it at the very beginning and the very end. Most of the movie is his son in the movie because his son's the one helping Sam Jackson through the whole movie. But it's the dude from Sisu and his real life son. Apparently they're famous in Finland. So anyway,
another scene that I question is the shield scene when he picks up the shield.
Yeah.
So what happens if Biden is in Air Force One going over Finland and something happens and he has to eject in the pod and then survive on his own?
He wouldn't survive the landing.
No.
Have you seen the dude try to walk up steps? Like, no. No, that's not going to happen. All right, Tim. Very good. What else did you have for us?
Anyway, speaking of John Wick.
John Wick 4.
John Wick Chapter 4.
You let me know. You just watched it. I think it is the second best one after the first one.
I concur.
I would agree with that.
Yeah. It's great.
I would totally agree with that.
The first one is still the best. The first one still remains king of the John Wick movies. But I'd say it's a solid number 2, so to speak.
Definitely. Followed by the third one, and then the second one being the last because it's got some.
Yeah, the second one's my least favorite. The second one's my least favorite. Thank you, Dom. Dom in the chat says the movie you're thinking of is called Big Game. Yes, that's what it's called. It's called Big Game, starring Samuel L. Jackson and that dude and his son from Sisu. I don't remember.
I've never heard of this movie.
Yeah, it's called Big Game. Thank you, Dom. Appreciate that out there in the chat.
I'll have to look for that one.
It's a good movie. It's a good movie. It's a good action movie. All right, what else you got?
And lastly,
Lord,
I wish Duke was here to help give his thoughts on this one.
So, okay.
Good movie.
Okay. Now, I will say, okay, so that movie is really, really good. Like, it's just a good Western movie. It's got some good action in it. The humor, the humor is actually really good between the characters when they're on their journey to go find the girl. Like, the humor between the different characters is on point. Like, the movie's really, really good. It's a good Western movie right up until the last 15 minutes. And then you get thrown for a loop, and it turns into a fucking Eli Roth horror movie for the last 15 minutes of the fucking movie. And
yes, it does.
And that particular scene, which the movie is named for, is just one of those things I will never be able to get out of my head ever in my life. That's never going away. It is stuck there permanently.
Which kind of brings up a question that I really wish Duke was here for. Did they have to start with the split between the legs?
Apparently.
Did they have to start there?
Well, it's softer tissue than going through the skull first. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and there is the crack in the back, so there's that. But
it's easier to get through. And then once you get going about mid-sternum, the rest is just butter at that point. So it is a movie that I feel so many different ways about because of the fact that like the first 3/4 of the movie is just a good Western movie with good dialogue and good interaction, good action, good humor, great characters. And then that last 15 minutes or whatever of the movie, you're just like, what in the hell am I watching? What just happened?
Brutal.
It takes a hard left turn and becomes a completely different movie right there at the end. And I won't say it's not a good movie or that you shouldn't watch it or anything like that. Just be prepared to just have some scenes permanently like burned into your brain for the rest of your life that you're going to wish you could forget, but you're not going to be able to. Because it's messed up, man. Like it is, that ending of that movie is messed up.
It is very messed up.
Yeah.
Oh, there is that one little opening scene where those two bad guys are cutting throats to those people opening, but
yeah, but it's that's like, it's a Western, whatever. Like, it's not that bad. It's nothing compared to the end of the movie.
oh god, no, not even.
So
The whole ending of that movie is very brutal.
I won't go out and be like, oh, you got to watch this movie or anything. But if you're curious, I mean, it is a good movie. It's well done, well written, all that stuff. And if you like Westerns, I mean, it's a good Western. Just know it's going to take a hard left turn right there at the end.
Yeah, that's like saying, these are really good mashed potatoes. It's just that there's licorice in. Like, I'm not watching 3/4 of something just to have it ruined. I don't know. I think it was more like...
Well, it's like if there was only licorice at the bottom.
Yeah.
But like the top's fine.
Yeah.
Like
exactly.
the top's really good.
The crust or something. But but you can't stop watching a movie. You get into the movie. I just think it had no reason. So I'm going to do the other. I'll say it's not worth watching unless you like movies that get, I don't know what to call that, but whatever you just described it as, if you like that, then go for it.
What they would call in horror movies, it's called body horror.
But I mean, the way that they add it to the very end, because it's not like it's coming or you think about it. And I don't know, it's just kind of like a shock thing. And I'm not into it.
Yeah, it comes completely out of left field. It seemingly doesn't, the tone of the movie completely changes. I compare it to another movie, and it's not the same, but just how drastically the tone of a movie changes is the movie called The Man Who Killed Hitler and the Bigfoot, which is a weird movie, and it's just one of these like low-key kind of emotional dramas through the first 80% of the movie, where it's just about an old guy. And you're getting flashbacks of him during World War II, and it's not particularly upbeat or fast-moving. It's just kind of a retrospective on this guy's life, and it's a slower-paced movie. And in the last 20 minutes, it turns into like a fantasy action movie, just all of a sudden out of nowhere, and you're just like, "What the hell am I watching?" And it's a similar type of tone shift to that. Which another movie that did that? What was the name of that movie? Oh man, something about Skylight or Skyline. This alien movie that came out, I want to say back in the late 2000s.
Where it was kind of like a thriller, and then at the last minute it turned into sci-fi.
Well, no, because it was sci-fi the whole time. But it focuses on like this group of friends who are stuck in an apartment while there's an alien invasion, right? And through most of the movie, you don't really see the aliens. Like, you see the destruction and all the stuff going on. But most of the movie takes place in this apartment. And, there's something about when the aliens flash this beam of light on people, their eyes go blue, and then they get sucked up into the sky. And nobody knows what's happening through the whole movie. But then at the very end of the movie, it basically turns into a freaking Michael Bay Transformers movie. Like, out of nowhere, the tone of the movie.
Yeah, I know the movie you're talking about now. Yeah, it's definitely.
In the last like 5 or 10 minutes, turns into like a Transformers movie. It's one of those when a movie does that. Sometimes it's done well. Sometimes it's just very jarring.
The main character's brain gets yanked out and put in.
Yeah, it gets yanked out and put into a giant robot, and he starts fighting the aliens in a giant robot, and you're just like, "What the hell am I watching? Like, what just happened here?"
I think they made 4 of those, 3 or 4 of them.
Well, they did. They made several sequels. I know 2 of them ended up on Netflix. I've never watched them.
How long do you have from the time? How long do you have from the time the fucking aliens rip your brain out to the time you die? Like, how long can you live inside the fucking?
Apparently, a while.
Apparently, to be fair, a lot of times aliens will put you into a robot.
Well, they put it in a robot. I think they were. I don't think it ever even explained in the movie why they put his brain in a robot. Or a giant robot that was capable of killing them. Like, I don't think it explained why they would think, well, we should definitely take one of these humans that we've just ravaged their planet that's going to really hate us and put him in a giant robot that could easily kill us. I don't think
he
they ever
an actor that played in the wrong place at the wrong time or something. It wasn't like they picked him, was it?
Isn't the main guy in there the guy that played Crossbones in the MCU?
No, he was in one of the sequels that ended up going direct to Netflix.
No, I thought he was in a couple of them.
Well, he might have been in a couple of them. He wasn't in the original.
Those actors are in a lot of movies, right? Those actors had done a lot.
Yeah, the original movie had the blanket on his name. What's the guy's name from Scrubs? Not the main guy, his best friend.
Yeah, the black guy.
Yeah, why am I? His name's Donald.
It's right there. I know who you're talking about.
Remember. Anyway, he's one of the.
I can picture his face, but I can't tell you his name.
Anyway, but yeah, I mean, anyway, he was one of the main guys in that movie. Another dude who I can't remember his name, but if you saw him, you'd know who he was. And it was a couple chicks. It was like 5 characters stuck in an apartment.
Donald Fazio.
What?
Donald Fazio.
Faison. Donald Faison.
Yeah,
that's what his name is. Donald Faison. Yeah. And it was a pretty good movie. I enjoyed it. It was kind of a low-key alien invasion movie where, it's, the majority of the movie didn't rely on a bunch of action or anything. It was all about the suspense of what's going on and these people trapped and that kind of thing. And you got a couple little peaks of aliens, but you never really saw one clearly. And, it was a good movie. And then right at the end turns into Transformers 4 or something, It was just weird. It was a weird tone shift. And those weird tone shifts, like I said, sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. And for that one, it didn't. Because the end of that movie, I felt like ruined the movie for me. Because it was just so weird. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was just such a weird tonal shift.
Wow, I think that's come out 13 years ago.
Yeah, it was like late 2000s or something.
2010.
Yeah, it's a weird movie, man. It's a weird movie. But all right, Tim, what else you got? Was that it, or you got more?
That was it for now.
That's it for now. Okay. All right.
Skyline's still a fun movie. Even the sequels, they're not the greatest the further they go on, but they're still fun to watch.
I like the dude, and I'm blanking on his name, but the dude who plays Crossbones. I like him. I've seen him in a bunch of stuff, and I keep meaning to watch those movies because they're on Netflix to see if they're any good. But I just have.
Can I share the nerd T-shirt that I bought?
Yeah, absolutely. This is the chat for that.
Yeah, check it out.
Ooh, Darmok and Jalad at Tanagra when the walls fell.
Tour T-shirt. Isn't that fucking great with fucking Jean-Luc Picard playing the guitar and tour dates are all in. If you look at it, they're all in star dates. It's like star date 497.56.
That's cool. No, that's really cool. I like that.
Well, I forgot about in Skyline, like the main character's name was actually my name when spelled my way, which is rare.
Let me see. I'm trying to find something here. Something I wanted to show you guys. Where is it? Where is it? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I wanted to show you guys this. And this is just, we're talking about nerdy stuff. I got a topic we're going to go over. We're going to talk about, why am I echoing?
Yeah, there's a real bad echo. I think it's Honda's mic again.
I'll put in earphones. Sorry to dig.
I gotta find this here because I want to show you guys this. I should have pulled this up before the chat, so I wasn't sitting here typing. But here we go. This is going to take a minute. So I found this for those of you who are into nerdy stuff or toys and shit, or just decorations or whatever, like me. You might find this interesting. I'm not sure if I'm going to go see this movie. I mean, I do want to see it. I just don't know if I want to go to the movies to see it because the last 2 DC movies that have come out have been kind of disappointing. Not horrible. Like, I liked them, but I definitely, after watching them, was like, I could have waited to see those when they were streamed. Like, they weren't good enough for me to have gone to the movies to see, right? You know what I mean? And
right.
So the new one that comes out, I think
almost
next week.
Always think that.
Well, you always think that. But so the new one coming out next week is Blue Beetle, which I do want to see.
I do too.
I just don't know that I want to go to the movies to see it.
Who's Blue
But
Beetle?
as a DC character, I mean, he's like the third incarnation, I think, of Blue Beetle. He's not the Blue Beetle I grew up with. That was a character named Ted Kord, but it's like a newer character that is using the name, even though he has very different powers. But anyways, he's just a character that basically gets a hold of an alien's, like a suit that, is like I don't know all the history of the newest version of Blue Beetle, so
it's kind of like, I don't know if you know anime. It's kind of like a Guyver suit.
Like a guy, yeah, it's like an alien suit of armor that has lots of powers. And this kid who's like, if I remember correctly, wasn't he supposed to be like 16 when he first got it? Anyway, he gets a hold of it. And anyway, I've watched the character on a lot of the animated stuff, and he's a cool character, and I like him and all. I just don't know his history because I wasn't reading comics when he first dropped in like the mid 2000s or something like that. So anyway, but the putting all that aside, if you are geeky like me, this thing came out, and it's this Blue Beetle bug ship popcorn container that's being sold at the movie theaters, right?
That's cool.
And it's pretty big. And like, there are videos all over YouTube of people finding this damn thing. And
hi, my name is Robert.
Ads. Of course, there's got to be ads. I just want to show the audience something. So it's pretty big, and like it would make for pretty cool decoration. Or if like me, you collect figures and stuff. Now it does come with this lanyard on the side, which of course you would take that off, but you can actually like put stuff in it. You don't have to use it as a popcorn bucket. And it's $25, which if you collect these things like what I've got behind me, $25 is cheap as hell for something this big. Right? I ordered one. Yesterday. Because I think it's just cool. And again, the thing that throws me off for anybody that knows the comics, this is not something that this current incarnation of Blue Beetle with the space armor uses. This is Ted Kord's like Blue Beetle ship that he uses. So this is the previous version of Blue Beetle's ship. But this is like classic, cool looking thing. I mean, throwing a little extra detailed paint on this and getting rid of those lanyards, like that's a cool thing for $25.
So that's not something you can get at the theater when you go to watch it?
I think it depends, but they've got a couple of them. They've got one that looks like, there's one bucket that looks like Blue Beetle's helmet. There's one bucket that looks like this, and there's another bucket that looks like what they call the Scarab. That's his backpack type of thing that has the alien armor in it. And so I guess some theaters got this one, and some theaters got the Blue Beetle helmet popcorn bucket, and some theaters got the other one. So there's no guarantee that your theater will have this one. But you can order it like I did at shopcinemark.com for $25, $24.99. And they'll just ship it to you.
Have popcorn in it?
It will not have popcorn in it, no. But Jared, I thought you might find this interesting. I don't know if you
take it to a place.
I do. I like it.
I don't know if have you seen this before?
I've seen it on some of the collector groups on Facebook.
Yeah.
Will they fill it for free when you go in there?
No. I think it still costs $25 in the theater too, but you get free popcorn with it if you buy it at the theater because they'll fill it.
I mean, if you bring something like that to the theater, will they fill it for?
I don't know. That's a good question. I have no idea.
Because obviously you bought it from them. It's not like you.
Yeah. But
the side chat, since you're looking at things that are blue, it's not exactly the same. But I seen this at a store the other day. Would you have bought this thing? Is that something you're looking for?
Let me see. What is this?
I have an Instagram picture there. There's two pictures. I don't know what it is, but it's like 3 foot tall. It's as big as those old Voltrons used to be. Or the old.
It looks like almost like one of those ones that crack open that you could put other toys inside.
Yeah, I was going to say it probably looks like it probably open up and there's like a playset inside of it.
Yeah, and then there's like a bunch of missiles and stuff missing. That's why I didn't buy it, because I looked on eBay. They're anywhere from like 50 to 100. If it was like 100, if it was brand new in the box and everything, like 50 if it was all complete. But this one was just the shell or whatever. So is that the kind of thing you'd buy, or would you pass on?
If I saw that at like a thrift store or something, I might pick something like that up. Just
price tag $9.
How much?
$9.
I'd probably pay $9 for that for shiggles. Yeah, it'd be kind of cool just to have. Yeah, that's kind of cool. I mean, I don't know what I would do with it exactly, but like for $9, it's like, even if I give it to like one of my nephews or something, you know what I mean? Like if I decide I'm like, I really don't have a use for it. I'll give it to my youngest nephew who loves superheroes and stuff. Not my youngest nephew, I guess now he's my middle nephew. But, he's like 8. He loves this type of stuff. So, yeah, I mean, I'd buy it for $9 because even if I, like, decided I didn't want to put it somewhere with all my other stuff, I would do something with it. So.
Because it's big.
Yeah, it looks huge. I mean, just like comparing to the toy that's sitting next to it, it looks huge. So, yeah. No, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. But anyway, yeah. So popcorn buckets and Batmans. That's what we got here today. I know. Exciting stuff, people, but it's pretty cool. So, yeah, if you want one of these popcorn buckets, go to shopcinemark.com. And then you can, I don't know. I'm just going to use it as a decoration because I just think it's cool. I'm going to take a stupid lanyard off of it and stick it up on a shelf somewhere just because I was like, well, that's cool.
Well, put LED light inside of it. When it was little,
that's not a bad idea. Yeah, you could put LED lights and all kinds of stuff in there. Get it to glow from the inside through those translucent eyes and stuff. Yeah, it'd be pretty cool. You could do all kinds of stuff with it. But yeah, it looks cool, man. I like it for $25, man. Yeah, and then the legs even move. You can move the legs and stuff. So yeah, I pick one up because why not? Looks cool. Looks fun. So anyway, I just wanted to show you guys that. But yes, Dom, I see your super chat there. I see your super chat. Thank you for letting everyone know. This is the Geek chat, though, sir.
None of that nonsense here now.
Oh, did you see the Dom had a super
unless it's 1/24th scale, then it's okay.
No. Okay, wait. What did you say?
I was like, did you see Dom super chat there?
Yes, I did. I did see.
G-Webs, you're funny.
Anyway, okay, so we do have something. We're going to play a little game today, and it's called the best sci-fi movies, or excuse me, best sci-fi TV series.
Top 5 bracket.
This is not a bracket. There's no need to bring a list. This is different. We've only done this one other time before. We did it with was it classic 80s movies or something? We did this months ago. But we're gonna rank sci-fi TV shows in this scale here from epic all the way down to meh.
Okay. I've
picked going through the list in my head, what I think are like the 25 best sci-fi television shows I know of. This may not be all of them. I may be forgetting some, but I got to like 28 people. Come on.
They're already in here. We're not adding them. We're
not adding them. We're not doing anything. And we're just going to have discussions about these shows, and we're going to
throw me a link to this. This looks cool. Throw me a link to this or something.
Yeah, we're going to collectively put it in one of these categories. We've got epic, great, good, solid, and meh. Okay? And we're going to collectively but just like we did last time, everybody gets to we kind of come to a consensus of where we want it. If you are vehemently against something, everybody in the chat gets one and only one veto. And what that means is you can use your veto to move any show from one spot to another. You get one of those. All right? Everybody gets one. That's it. Don't waste it.
I feel like there should be a spot for shows that suck so bad that they're not.
Well, because I picked all the good ones. None of these shows suck.
Oh,
right?
Okay. No,
none of these shows suck. But maybe hey, there may be one on here. There may be one on here that you think sucks, and in which case you can use your one veto to move it from wherever it is down to meh.
But like last time, can someone else use their veto to move it back or move it somewhere else?
Yes, you absolutely can. If that's what you want to use your veto on.
People on the panel, right?
Yeah, if you want to use your veto to counteract somebody else's veto, you certainly can. Hey, Quinn, what's up, Quinn? Quinn's out there in the chat.
What's up, Quinn?
Everybody earlier that I I hung out at Quinn's for a little bit today, and I picked up some stuff, which we'll look at here in a little bit. I picked up a couple of figures.
And you didn't get nothing for us. Shame on you.
I did not get anything for you guys at Quinn's shop. But yeah, Quinn's shop is my my favorite toy shop. I mean, he's technically I don't know. Quinn, I mean, the name of the place is Quinn's Comics. He's got a lot of both. I go in there specifically to look for toys, not comics, because I don't really buy comics anymore. Although I get man, there's probably a couple that I would pick up. I need to see, Quinn, do you carry the Saga trades? Because I'm like 2 or 3 trades behind. That's something I still collect, but I haven't picked up a trade in like a year and a half, and they come out every 6 months. And so I'm like 2, maybe 3 of the trades behind on Saga. And I do need to pick those up. I need to get those because I can't remember. I got to go look and see what number I'm on.
So what is trade? Is that like a whole bunch?
I mean, so a trade is when it depends. A trade can mean many things. Usually, it's a thicker book.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, we like them thick. It's what a lot of companies do is they every 6 months, because comics come out once a month. Every 6 months, they'll collect 6 issues together into one, what they call a trade paperback. And so if you don't want to buy a comic book every month, then once every 6 months, you can just go buy the trade. That's the collected work of those 6 issues. That's what they do with Saga. Some trades are just all new stories that just were never told in the regular comic series. So a trade can be anything. They used to call them graphic novels back in the day.
Yeah, it sounds like a graphic novel. Okay.
Yeah, I mean that's what it is, but it's what we call a trade paperback.
Quinn said it's usually I guess it's a collection of usually 6 issues.
Yeah, and that's how I read Saga. Is through the trade.
And so Saga is just some particular comic that you're talking about?
Yeah, it's from Image Comics, and it's a sci-fi fantasy adventure series that I read. It's really currently it's the only new comic book that I still read. I read a lot of older stuff. Like I just picked up not too long ago the last trade out of the Age of Apocalypse stuff from the 90s that I had never read back in the 90s when it came out. And so I've been reading that. And so I pick up older stuff a lot more. The new stuff I don't pick up anymore. I don't read any new Marvel or new DDC. But I do like some off stuff. Like Saga is a great book. Anybody who's into, comics but doesn't.
Is that because Marvel is not woke enough, or is it too woke?
It's real highbrow adult sci-fi fantasy, I guess, is the best. I don't know. It's a weird book, which I like about it. The characters are weird. The situation is completely weird. It's a very, very interesting story that I like quite a bit. It's really good. I would love to see them do it into like a movie or a series of movies someday, because I think it's fantastic. It's very adult. It would have to be R-rated to do the story any justice. Because it is not a PG-13 or whatever book. But anyway, it's done by Comics.
You buy Marvel if you want to see Ben Grimm make out with Peter Parker.
Exactly. But we don't want to see that. Instead, what I want to see is a bounty hunter make out.
That literally happened in the comics. So
I bet you it did. That does not surprise me. No, I read Saga because I want to see a bounty hunter with a giant pet telepathic cat make out with his ex-girlfriend, who is a giant half human, half spider. That's what happens in Saga. It's weird, and no, Corey, you would not like it because she's literally a giant half spider.
Yeah, no. Fuck
like
spiders.
she's like a
which half?
Well, that's what I'm supposed to get to. She's like a
Chimera.
What's the half horse dudes? Why am I blanking? Centaur. She's like a spider version of a centaur. So her upper half is human. By the way, she wears no clothes, so her tits are always out. Her upper half is human. Her lower half is like the spider body. How that works because he's human. How that works between the two of them, I don't know. But that's a thing in Saga.
Shouldn't
It's
she eat them afterwards?
It's a weird comic. But it's actually very good. The point of the plot of the comic essentially starts out, these two people fell in love. It starts out very Romeo and Juliet. They're both from two different species who've been warring for a really long time. The guy is from this species who they kind of have like goat horns on their head, but other than that, they look mostly human. And she's from a species that has wings, but other than that, she looks human. And he got sent to prison. She was a guard at the jail. They fell in love. She got pregnant. When she found out she was pregnant, they needed to escape together. And so the whole comic is about them being on the run, and all these people are after them. His people are after them. Her people are after them. There's this entire species of this upper class echelon of like rulers from this planet where they're all robots. And their heads are basically television sets. Their heads look like television sets, but they're all robots. Yet somehow they can still have offspring. I don't know how that works. And they're after them too, and everybody's after them and the whole time the story's being told and narrated by the daughter that was born of these two. She's the one telling the story. Her nanny is a ghost. There was a planet where there was a bunch of ghosts. And it's this ghost that like helped them take care of the kid and then went with them while they were, while they're constantly on the run to help care for the child while they're on the run. And they fly around in a giant spaceship that's organic, and it looks like a giant tree. That's their spaceship. It's I
was gonna read it, but now I know the whole thing.
Sci-fi fantasy. That's just in the first few issues, by the way. I didn't spoil nothing. It's a weird sci-fi fantasy book that's very entertaining. So I highly recommend it, by the way. It's one of the few comic books I still read. But
size of a comic or larger, because some of those graphic novels back in the day were larger. Okay.
No, it's the size of a comic. It's a regular comic. If you buy it month to month, it's just a regular comic.
DC did do a weird thing with the Black Label stuff for a while. They did magazine size.
Oh yeah, I don't like that.
That's one of the reasons I like the graphic novels, is they were larger. I didn't know, I could read them easily.
Yeah, no, this is the same size. Yes.
Just FYI for anyone that wants to see that movie Big Game that we were talking about a while ago, I found it. It's on Max right now.
It's on Max. It was on either Amazon or Netflix too, not too long ago, because me and my wife watched it a few months ago.
It's on Amazon Prime, but you gotta sign up for a free trial for whatever streaming services it's on. Okay. But it's on Max for free.
Is it not on the website?
Oh, it's definitely on the website. Yeah.
What's it called?
I got another super chat from Dom. Says, "Fine, going to watch Gran Turismo tomorrow." I'm curious about that. This is another movie that I don't think I'm going to go to the movies to see, but I do want to see it because it looked kind of cool. And apparently it's at least mildly based on a true story. Is that true? Like they took some gamers and gave them a chance to race or some shit. Did that really happen? Because it says it's based on a true story. And the movie's about them taking gamers who played Gran Turismo on like PlayStation and are teaching them to race real cars. Did that really happen? I have no idea. But anyway, the movie does look good.
Kids that were playing video games that got taken into space to fly a spaceship.
That did happen too. That happened back in the 80s. It was a very big story that most people don't even remember anymore, but it did happen.
Big Game on Private Movie Theater.
Okay, good. Yeah, it's a good movie. I like that one.
In HD.
But yeah, I do want to see Gran Turismo. I probably won't go to the movies to see that. So, all right. So here we are. I got 28 of what I feel like are the best sci-fi TV shows to exist, and we're going to talk about each one of them and talk about how good they are, or if you think they aren't good, or if you haven't seen it. Hopefully, we'll talk you into watching it, and we will collectively kind of figure out where it goes on this list. So the first one is here. It is The Expanse, and I'm not putting it anywhere. I'm just dropping it on the screen somewhere. We will decide where it goes collectively again. So The Expanse. This is a show, did what? 3 seasons on Sci-Fi Channel, 2 more seasons on Amazon. fantastic show. Probably the most realistic sci-fi show I've ever seen, as far as how they tried to depict humans starting to move out and colonize other planets and other areas in the solar system. It was done beautifully. Storyline was great. There was one season, I think it was season 3, that was a little off. It's my least favorite season.
Where they didn't know if they were going to be canceled or not, probably.
Yeah, it got canceled. I mean, it was dropped. It was canceled on Amazon after
season 3 wasn't the one that focused on mouth breather real bad.
I'm trying to remember.
I'm okay with it going to great. I know that a lot of people like it. I just couldn't keep up, but I understand why it's so good. Can you get rid of the super chat? It kills half the screen.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, let me drop the super chat there. But so I liked it a lot. Now, for me, and we will discuss this. For me, I would say, and I gotta kind of pace myself here because I don't want to just say every show's great, because I feel I just picked a whole bunch of shows that I love. But I would say The Expanse is either for me great or good. It's not epic, and it's not lower end on the scale. I would be happy seeing this one in the great or good category. But what does everybody else think about this show?
Meh. No, I'm playing it. I think it's a great show. I would say leave it where it's at.
Great.
I think the last 2 seasons bumped it down to good to me. Just
good. So we got one great. We got one good. Anybody else here seen the show The Expanse?
I have not seen it, therefore I have no opinion on it.
Okay. I don't think. Have you seen it all? You haven't seen it?
Nope, I haven't seen it, but I'm going to say meh, because even though I haven't seen it, I have strong opinions.
Yeah. Why do you have strong opinions?
I don't know. I just do.
All right. I tell you what. For the time being, I'm going to put it in good. We may come back to this one, but for the time being, let's leave it middle of the road. Good. I think it's a really good show. I definitely all these shows.
Definitely well made.
I think killing off like one of the main characters because he hugged a fan.
Yeah, that's bullshit. And that was
that dropped it down to good, if not solid.
I think it's like Battlestar Galactica because
especially since his character's supposed to live.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's got the Punisher in it, so come on, guys.
There's a lot of detail in it, and they put a lot of money into it, and there's so many stories, but that's why it's difficult for me to even pay attention to it, because you got to invest in it to keep up with all this stuff going on.
It is very complex and dense storytelling.
Very like awesome, but I can't keep up. Like I was trying to just watch a couple of threads, and then it got to where I'm only watching 2 or 3 threads through the
thing. Yeah, I get it. It's deep sci-fi. All right, next one we've got here is Orphan Black.
Oh snap!
Now, has anybody seen Orphan? Who here has seen Orphan Black?
I've seen it.
Yes.
Okay, so
great to epic for me.
I think it's a fantastic show. I don't particularly like that actress because I've learned way too much about her since she did She-Hulk, and she's incredibly she's way too far woke. But I won't hold that against this show. This show's fantastic.
Well, I think it's one of those ones too that started strong, finished weak.
I kind of liked it. I like Gwen. I would definitely say that there was some storyline going on in that last season that wasn't as strong. Yes, because we had, and I think part of that was that. I mean, that's why they ended the show, because in the first, it went 4 seasons. In the first 3 seasons, so much story had been laid out.
Yeah,
that there wasn't much left to do, and that last season was them trying to just tie up loose ends to finish the story out. But I will say one thing. As much as I've come to not really like this actress's personal opinions, I will say she's a phenomenal actress because she literally plays 5 or 6 characters on the show that are all supposed to be clones. And
they're very believable, different personalities.
Exactly. There are even times in the show where it's supposed to be one clone pretending to be one of the other clones. And she plays it so well that you as the viewer can tell which clone she actually is. because of how she's playing the character. You can tell it's this character pretending to be this character. She's a really good actress. The show, I would say this is great or epic. But again, I'm kind of like leaving mine open so that you guys can kind of decide. I would be happy with great or epic. I do think it's better than The Expanse. But what do you guys think out of everybody here?
So is this like the brackets where we can defer our like pass our vote to someone else?
No, this is not like that.
Because I don't have an opinion on the show. I've never seen it. So
Never seen it? Well, see,
Me
this is
either.
why we're talking about this stuff.
Yep.
Now you know you should see this show.
True.
If you like watching shows that are about a chick that's like 7 chicks.
Let's see. I think I'd bump it down to good.
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's still good.
Well, all right.
Or
So
see a lot
only-
of awesomes in the chat. I thought I would go epic great. I really like it.
So we got one good, one epic, and then I'm somewhere in the middle. Let's just leave it at great then.
Yeah.
That work for everybody? We'll
That's
leave
fine.
it at great.
Sounds great, Greg.
All right. Next one we got here is Firefly. Now, some people will say, why is this on the list? It only had one season. The fact that it has made such an impact on geek culture with just one season, 13 episodes, I believe. And that's if you get the DVD, because I don't think all 13 episodes originally made it to TV. I think you had to get the DVD set because there was like 2 extra episodes.
They
or something.
did make it to TV, but they aired them out of order.
Is that what it was? Okay. This is still a phenomenal show. I would say that because it was only one season and because it didn't get enough life as a show, because I'm taking the movie out of the equation. The story did wrap up nicely with the movie, and I love that movie, by the way.
Oh yeah, it's got one of the most iconic
Always good.
scenes too when they're coming out of the nebula. Like,
yeah,
they're on a suicide mission. It's like laughing, and then like all the Reavers come out. Target the Reavers! Target the Reavers!
Yeah, it's fantastic. But as a show, I can't say it's epic because it didn't finish any of the storylines, and there was still too much left open.
And the movie killed off like one of the most beloved characters too.
Yes, yeah. So I can't say it's epic. I would be okay with great or good. Somewhere.
I think great is good for me.
I was going to go that route. I'll call it as great.
I'm sorry, what show is it again?
Firefly.
Firefly, yeah, that's a good show. Yep.
Good or great or epic or solid?
You said good? You're only going good, or you going great? Good?
I said good.
You said good? Okay, so we've got 2 greats and a good. No, G, what did you say?
Epic.
Epic? 2 greats and
I don't think it's a failure that it ends, because I think it's cool sometimes when a thing ends without conclusion, because then you can film your own.
Plus, it's Fox. They don't hardly let anything at the time. Yeah. They didn't let anything go past 1 season.
Yeah.
No matter how good the ratings were, they would cancel. This is the time period too when they were canceling stuff to make room for reality singing and dancing shows. It's like, well, we need to cancel something other. We can just put this crap on, which cheaper to produce and gets good numbers.
Yeah. So much of the stuff is just like the same thing over and over, and this was, just I thought a unique way of doing space.
It was a excellently written and acted and plotted out space western, is what it was, and it was perfect. I say for now we'll leave it at great.
It's a very good spaghetti western.
I'm fine with it being at great.
Yeah. Okay, so next one we've got here is Stargate Atlantis. This is a show I'm currently watching. It's got 5 seasons. I'm on season 3 right now, but I know it's a very well loved. I know some people who like this better than the original Stargate.
Yeah.
I know it's a very well loved sci-fi show. I can safely say that now that I'm on season 3, it's definitely a must watch if you're a sci-fi fan. It's really well done. Especially if you're a fan of Stargate SG-1, like you definitely got to watch this one.
What's Atlantis compared to SG-1? Is it after or before?
It's after. It takes place after. Well, they kind of take place at the same time. Stargate Atlantis came on during Stargate season 9, I guess. And Stargate had 10 seasons total. So I think the first 2 seasons of Stargate Atlantis happened at the same time as the last 2 seasons of Stargate SG-1. So
But I
there's
mean,
some
the
overlap
shows
there.
are overlapping for real. Like those shows.
Yeah, the shows overlapped in real time, and they
Okay.
overlapped in the stories as well.
In the story. Okay.
Yeah. I would say, having not gotten through it all the way, I would say for me, and it's a good show. Again, all these shows are good. I would say for me, it's either good or solid. That's my opinion, but
I say good as well.
good. Has anybody else in here watched it? Is it just me and Jared?
I
No, I
never
watched
finished
it. I'm just trying to
but
figure out, do I want to put it as good or great?
I say good because I haven't seen it all, but what I saw was good.
Okay. So we'll leave it at good. Good sounds good. All right, next up we've got Eureka. I love this show.
Smooth, yeah.
Yeah, same here.
This is a fun show. Fun, crazy, weird, wacky sci-fi. Was this 5 or 6 seasons? I can't remember how many seasons this went on for.
Staggered, right? It had a gap or something.
Yeah, and
well,
there was a little bit of a gap because I think it was on during when we had that writer's strike back in like 2007 or 2008 or something like that.
Yeah, certain things did affect that
No,
show.
it never switched networks. It stayed on Sci-Fi Channel. But I think there was like a year where it wasn't on or something. I can't remember.
5 seasons.
5 seasons. Okay. I love this show from beginning to end. I thought it did every storyline justice, every character justice. For those that don't know what this show is about, it's essentially about a secret town called Eureka that the U.S. government, I forget where it's supposed to be, like somewhere in the Pacific Northwest, I think.
Like in California.
I don't remember where, but it's this,
Oregon or Washington or something.
yeah, something like that. And basically, it's this secret town full of all these scientists, and this town has been there for decades. And it's where the U.S. government like sends all the smart people to create all these cool things. And the story focuses on the guy who is he an FBI agent? I think he starts out as an FBI agent. I can't remember.
No,
and
he was a sheriff.
I think he was a U.S. Marshal.
U.S. Marshal,
Yeah,
there you go.
Marshal.
And he ends up accidentally running into this town when he's is he transporting a prisoner? I can't remember what he's doing, but
no, it's just he's retrieving his daughter.
Yeah, that's right. He was retrieving his daughter. And so he accidentally ends up in this town that nobody's supposed to know exists because it's a top secret town. And they basically take him and make him the sheriff of this town because he's a marshal, right? And they need a new sheriff because I can't remember what happened to the other sheriff, but the town needs a sheriff. And so it's just him as a normal guy living in a secret town full of like all these really smart scientists and and every episode it's some new crazy experiment that went wrong, or some evil genius trying to like create something to take over the world, or it's just a constant stream of all the crazy things that can happen in this secret town where the world's smartest people are just sitting there creating things. And he's like the normal dude in the town as the town sheriff having to deal with all the crazy stuff that's going on around him.
It would have been like the place that made all the stuff in Warehouse 13.
Exactly.
They actually crossed over with Warehouse 13.
Well, I was going to say, I remember so well. It was, remember, the old sheriff retired. He was getting old, so he's just like the other guy had to replace him.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yep.
He just retired. I couldn't remember what happened to him.
Invisible or something, I thought.
I can't remember. It's been a while since I watched it, but I made the decision when I was putting this list together. I was like, I need to rewatch Eureka because I haven't watched it in years. So I think when I finish Stargate Atlantis, I'm going to rewatch Eureka.
Yeah, it's probably pretty quick to watch too because it's a comedy, really, and it's fast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I don't think it came out when they had kind of stopped doing the 24 episode seasons, and it's like 10 to 12 episodes a season. So I don't think they're really long seasons, and I think you can get through it pretty quick if you wanted to watch it. But to me, even though it's a much lesser known shows than so far the ones we've talked about, I personally would put this as a great show. I wouldn't say it's epic, but it's definitely great.
Oh man, see, I would almost put it epic because at the time, this was at a time when there was a lot of boring garbage on, and it was like a cool, I wouldn't say cutting edge, but it was pretty cool.
Oh yeah,
and,
it had really good effects for its time. It's like the last 2 seasons were affected by budget constraints. so they couldn't do as much.
I felt like it was. I would definitely put it at great. I don't know if I'd make it epic.
Anybody else have an opinion? I'm putting it at great. Me and G-Web say great.
It's been so long since I've seen it. I don't remember hardly anything about it, so I'll say I don't have an opinion.
He comes into town, but it's really about the hot girlfriend, and then some other hot chicks are in the town also.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I like the one girl. She looks good, guys.
Both
definitely gonna watch it.
looking.
Both the deputy and his love interest.
Oh yeah, the deputy. Yeah, good looking too. Yeah, her.
And the woman he ends up marrying in the show actually was in Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, she was.
The Spanish girl?
She
No.
was.
No,
She basically was playing two roles in Deep Space Nine. She was playing like a really like free spirit type character that Cisco starts falling for. End up, she is the wife of an alien wife of another person, but she's super boring and constrained and not happy, and she can actually project a physical construct of her inner emotions in Deep Space. But it's digress. That's a tangent we don't need to talk about.
All right.
But
Anyway,
Star Trek.
all right, we're leaving Eureka at great. Now we've got Twilight Zone.
Which version?
Which version? Yeah.
All of them. The original is the best, but I would say Twilight Zone is epic. I don't think there should be.
Yeah, I think epic.
I would say epic as well. I love that show.
I loved the original Twilight Zone. I grew up on it. I love the 80s bringing back Twilight Zone. They've done it a couple other times as well. You know, it's always been good. I love the Twilight Zone movie from the 80s. Like, I love Twilight Zone. I grew up on it. It is one of the most recognizable sci-fi shows in the world.
Does it hold up? Can you go back and watch them?
Oh, 100%. I watch every year when they do on the Sci-Fi Channel. They do the New Year's 24 hours. Yeah, they do the 24-hour marathon. I always fucking watch.
Well, I need to watch the newest one. The newest one was 2019 to 2020.
Mm-hmm. I imagine if you've never seen Twilight Zone and you watched it, you're gonna go like, oh, for all the things that people refer to the Twilight Zone shows. Yeah. Like
there's so much. There is so many things that you have seen in movies that came from Twilight Zone episodes. And I'm not just talking about references. I'm talking about like storylines that happened in Twilight Zone first. There is so much of modern sci-fi that owes Twilight Zone for the things that it did. Like, I don't think it can be anything other than epic. So,
yeah, and it still holds up to this day, even if it's certain things is black and white. So, I mean, it's
I totally agree.
That earns that epic rating.
Yep, epic.
And it keeps coming back, and basically it can be considered the same series since it's just an anthology series.
Yeah, that's great. I love Twilight Zone. All right, what do we have next here? Sliders. Oh man, this is a personal
sliders.
This is a personal favorite of mine. I have to be realistic here. I don't think it's epic. I do think it's great. I
think it started great, but it ended.
I think the last season was arguably bad because all the main characters had left the show by the last season.
Oh, and they made sure to like basically kill off the main characters too.
Yeah.
But can you really hold the last season against the entire series?
No, I don't. Personally.
I don't think so.
I don't. Because the concept for that show, while something, if you're a fan of sci-fi, you've seen many times, the alternate reality stuff, that's something that's been around sci-fi for a while, but they pulled it off so well. And it was just, it was so good. It was so good. To this day, I love this show. It's one of those shows I can pick up and watch at any time and just be fully entertained. Even though the last season was not good because and look, there was one main character. Cleveland Brown was still on the show, and he kind of became the main character, even though he hadn't been the main character for the first 4 seasons because he was the only original cast member left on the show. And so there was still some decent, alternate reality episodes in there. Like it wasn't horrible, but like compared to the rest of the show, it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad.
Was his name actually Cleveland Brown?
Yeah, it was his name. Yeah, on the show.
From Family Guy?
Family Guy.
Oh, sorry. Was it? Wait, what was his fucking name? Remy Brown, right? Remy Brown. Sorry, not Cleveland. Rembrandt Brown, but they called him Remy. Rembrandt Brown was his name. Yeah, sorry, mixed up.
Brown. At
first, I'm thinking like, oh, so he has the same name like this, because some people have, double names. I'm like, just like in Family Guy. I'm like, okay.
That Family Guy stuck in my head apparently. Yeah, Rembrandt Brown, Remy. Anyway, I don't know. Yeah, I'll let you guys decide. It was a really good show. I admit I love it more than most people do.
I vote great.
I'm gonna give it a solid.
I vote great.
I would say I can't put it at epic, but for me it was great. But I would sell for great or good. But I don't know.
It's hard when they're that old because at the time I would have ranked it higher than I would today with all the other stuff compared to it.
Yeah.
At the time, it was one of my favorite shows, though.
Would you say that that's like the best thing that Jerry O'Connell's known for is sliders?
I don't know. Is it the thing he's most known for? I feel like he's most.
No, he's done newer stuff than that, right?
I feel like he's most known for being married to what's her face.
True too. But I mean, he's always been more like a B actor.
Yeah.
Even
obviously, he's most known for Stand By Me.
Oh yeah,
biggest thing he's ever done.
Yeah, he's the chunky kid in Stand By Me.
Yeah.
Yes, he was.
But maybe a close second to that. I don't know. What do you guys think? Okay, let's. I don't know. Can we leave it at good?
No, I'd say great.
I'd say solid.
I'd say great.
We got a great. We got a solid. That middles out to a good. Now remember, everybody has a veto. I'm not saying you have to use your veto now, but like everybody has a veto. So I would say we split the difference and leave it at good. But we have to agree.
From the vague memories I have of watching that show back in the day, I would go with good.
All right. Let's see. What do we got next here? We've got Defiance.
Another one that's I liked a lot.
I like the show a lot. I would say for me, this was good. On this particular list, knowing what these other shows are down here that I know are on the list, for me, this one would be good. I don't know. One. I still hate that it ended on a cliffhanger, which kind of pissed me off.
It's still a good show, though.
It's still a good show, though. It is a really good show. It's a great sci-fi show, really entertaining. I don't know.
I'd say leave it a good.
Okay, that's two goods.
Yeah, I'd say good too.
Good. Okay, we're gonna fill up.
It's not great. It's one of those shows. It could have been so damn good if it was like on another network when it could have gave you a budget.
Yeah. I will say, and I did have for those that don't know, the kind of one of the hooks about Defiance was that they released a video game at the same time that was constantly updating with what was going on in the show. So storylines, and it was like an open world video game. And I had it. I played it for a while. And it was actually really good. And as things would happen on the episodes, it would change storylines that you were allowed to play through on the game. And it was actually a pretty cool combination between video games and TV shows that I don't think anybody's done since then, have they?
Nope. And
it was a really unique way to kind of tie the video games into the show. I would wish more, not that there's a lot of video games based on television shows, because there's not, but like it would be pretty cool to see more of that stuff happening. Okay, so we're gonna leave this one at good. Then we got Falling Skies. G-Webs, I know this was one of your favorites. We used to talk about
I fucking loved that show. Me and my mom would watch that show week to week. That it hooked us.
I gotta say, for me on this list, it's a solid. Like I like it. I like all these shows, but for me, it's solid.
For me,
like, it got kind of weak in the last couple seasons.
It kind of did, but it was a great fucking show.
It was always kind of hard to deal with, and it was also, again, like at the time, it was great. But if there was nothing else on, then it would be great, right? So compared to other
I
things,
remember the big book was, and this is why we would talk about it on the shows all the time. It was people fighting aliens with AK-47s. Like
he was trying to be realistic, and this happened during Walking Dead, right? Like this was in the Walking Dead.
I think Falling Skies started around the same time as Walking Dead. Yeah,
I think it was a couple years after. So it was definitely
I think it was before Walking Dead.
It might have started like a season before Walking Dead.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. I know that it was at a time when everybody was in
It's definitely before Walking Dead, because...
Yeah, I was going to say, it was before Walking Dead.
Yeah, I think it's quite a bit ways before Walking Dead.
Wait, no, because when it first came on in that first season, we were already talking about it on my Geek chats, which I didn't start until 2011, and we were talking about the first season then.
No, but it's hard to know because we were talking since 10, and I don't know if we were just talking about the show.
First episode was June 19th, 2011.
2011, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because when it came on, we started talking about it on the shows. So I remember us talking about it, and we were all like, "This aliens fighting with AK-47s, or humans fighting aliens with AK-47s." We loved it. So, but again, in retrospect, while I would say it's solid.
I mean, it has Moon Bloodgood in it. I mean, come on.
That's true. It does. But overall, I would say it's solid. It's a solid sci-fi watch.
There's a part of it where
I wholeheartedly disagree.
I can remember a part where they were like, the aliens can see the heat of our vehicle, so they're like, oh, no problem. And they bungeed some mattresses on the hoods or something. And it was like, well, we're just going to stretch the science part of it a little bit.
Well, that's one of the shows. The show was like a myth to me because the aliens did not seem advanced enough to take down our current U.S. military.
Yeah.
True, but it was still a great fucking show, and I have to say my vote, it goes for great.
Would you like to use your veto?
Yeah, I'd go somewhere between good and great myself.
No, not right now. I'll reserve that for later.
Okay. All right.
Isn't there enough votes to get it to good at least, though?
Well,
I mean, we got what, Jared? You agree with me? Solid, right?
Actually, I said meh.
Meh. He said meh.
Okay.
I said solid.
All right.
I'm reason what my timeline was because I didn't have cable when this came out, so I relied on like stuff like the website. So I had no idea when stuff came out. I just watched it. I never even heard of Walking Dead until after.
And it doesn't hold up. I don't think it holds up. It's kind of cheesy when you look at it now.
Yeah.
A little bit low budget, I guess.
Y'all are all wrong, and it's okay for you to be wrong. I mean, you're entitled to your own opinion, but wrong.
All right.
Well, I went back and tried to watch it maybe a few years ago, and I was like, I'm not going to watch it anymore.
All right. Next one is Farscape.
Epic.
Farscape for me is either great or epic. I would be willing to go with either one of those. Now, how many people in here have actually watched Farscape? Obviously, me and Jared have.
I've seen it, but I haven't finished watching it.
I've watched it multiple times.
Yeah,
and
me too.
The Peacekeeper Wars movie too.
Yes, I have all of them on
DVD. A long time ago.
I'm perfectly happy with Epic. I think it is an epic show. I think it is an absolute, hands down, must watch for any sci-fi fan.
Yep.
Can we
get the aliens look like aliens?
Yes. If nobody's going to disagree, me and Jared are going with Epic.
No, I'm fine with it being epic. I'm just giving you shit.
All right, that was a quick
I've
one.
never really watched it.
Next up, we got Fringe.
Yes.
That was a good show. It was
I
weird.
liked it.
I liked
That's
it.
a good one.
I would say solid or good, somewhere in there. I don't think it's meh. I think it's better.
No. I'm fine with it being good.
It's not great or epic.
Yeah.
So
it's one of those ones where they kind of lost direction doing the show.
Yeah.
This was like
it.
X-Files later. Like it was like, hey, they can see through walls or something just randomly.
It started out kind of like that, but it got real heavily into the multiple universe things and character. Different versions of characters coming over from another universe and lots of lots of that type of stuff going on. It was X-Files ish in some ways. I'd be okay putting it at solid.
Yeah, I think solid would be good.
Solid's fine. Yeah,
solid.
The old guy in there. He's been in a bunch of other stuff I've seen.
Lord of the Rings.
He was in that movie Sleepy Hollow, or that show Sleepy Hollow. So I like that old dude. And Joshua Jackson, even though I didn't really care for him as an actor, because
he was great in the show.
He was great in the show. I couldn't stand him in that show, Dawson's Creek or anything, but he did good.
All right. So we're leaving this one at solid. All right, now we've got Star Trek, the original TOS Star Trek.
Me.
The
Great.
fuck you say?
If we're talking about the original, I agree with you that one.
Okay.
No, the original was good. I love the original. I grew
now,
up on it.
I will say that I don't think it's epic, but it's definitely great.
It's great, yes.
I think
I'm giving it all she's got, Captain. I can't give no more.
I think the remastered with the CGI, special effects, stuff like that, puts it great. But with the original series, as much as I love it, before they remastered it, would probably been a good. It just makes it feel so much better once they remastered it with HD with the new effects.
Back in the day when we only had TV, some of us that are that old to remember only TV. Yep. When we had Star Trek come on like a Saturday, I think it was like Saturday afternoon or whatever. I mean, that was the shit. That was like getting actual science fiction on TV every week. Yeah. So I think it's, I would say epic or maybe iconic, but like it's one of those gold standards that you base everything else on because of its longevity or whatever. But
yeah,
I don't know.
I agree with G Webs, and I'm old enough to remember when I was the remote for the TV. So what are we saying? Are we saying good, great, or epic? I would say
great for sure. I'm not going to let it go lower than great. At least.
Yeah, it needs to stay at great.
And that being said, it's not my favorite show or nothing. I just want to give it the respect.
But it is responsible for much of the sci-fi we have today. Much of the same way Twilight Zone.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
And we have to thank Lucille Ball for that.
Yep. All right. Next up, we've got Doctor Who. Now, I don't know. I am obviously a longtime Doctor Who fan. Doctor Who, I've said many times, was my favorite sci-fi show of all time. It has changed a lot in the last 5 seasons, and it is not my favorite sci-fi show anymore. But we're talking about a show that has been around since the 1960s. And despite its recent missteps, is still one of my favorite sci-fi shows of all time. To me, it is epic, but I understand that it has fallen hard in the last few seasons.
Oh yeah, it's went from being epic to below meh.
It's horrible now. I stopped watching when the new Doctor got on the show. I did try to watch that first season that she was on the show. But I
even with Peter Capaldi,
I'll play a little.
They changed the show so much while he was on the show.
I'll play a little.
Pretty. I didn't even finish out Peter Capaldi, but
I still liked Peter Capaldi. I still liked.
I'll play a little.
He was not as good as David Tennant or Matt Smith, but I still liked the show a lot.
I liked it when he first came on, but it got progressively worse at the end. They've changed writers and direction of the show while he's on there. They started pushing their new agenda stuff in there a little more.
Well, that's the thing I'm about to say. I'll play a little devil advocate because it still deserves one of those great epics between shows. Because remember, mind you, it can go the same way that happened with That can happen with Star Trek easily. And some people
here's the thing though. When it comes to Doctor Who, because I mean, unlike Star Trek, we're not talking about multiple different shows with different casts and all that kind of stuff, different characters, right? We're talking about a show for all intents and purposes, short of about a 10-year dry spell from mid-90s to mid-2000s, has been on the air since the 1960s. We're talking about so many episodes of television, it rivals all of Star Trek put together. And if all I can say is, like, the last 4 seasons have sucked, out of 60 years of history, that's still a pretty damn good show.
But they made the show suck so bad it completely destroyed the 60 years of history because they retconned the entire series with these past few seasons. The Doctor is no longer even a Time Lord.
Yeah, I know. I heard that. I haven't watched it, but I heard that.
The Time Lords, the timeless child destroyed Doctor Who.
I say, just hope that don't happen to Star Trek.
Oh, Star Trek's already been fucked.
Mm-hmm.
We're starting with Disco.
So for a show that's been on since the 60s, there's no way it can be the same, because the 60s it would have been like, like the Avengers, or like, real weird like Batman or something like the old.
Oh,
Batman.
it has been on since the 60s.
I'm just saying it would have to change and be appealing to the time, otherwise it would never stick around.
I don't know. I vote for great, but I don't know.
I'm going to say solid because I've always enjoyed Doctor Who, even back then. But it is just gobbledygook language when they try to talk science on that show.
Oh yeah, it is.
It's just like.
For me personally, that's just one show that I couldn't really never get into fully, just because not having a reliable TV or service to watch it on. I've seen some episodes, but not enough to form an opinion. So I just defer to y'all.
The Fourth Doctor was my first introduction to Doctor Who on PBS.
Yeah,
yep, Tom Baker.
He was my first introduction too, because that's who was on when I started watching it. I mean,
CBS,
I went back and rewatched all the old ones, but that was the one, But
when they brought it back in like when was they brought it back early 2000s?
Yeah, that was Christopher Eccleston was in 2004, and then in 2005 we got David Tennant for multiple seasons. Then we got Matt Smith for multiple seasons. Then Peter Capaldi, and then the new chick,
which she's gone now.
Yeah, she's gone now. They brought back David Tennant. I need to watch it again because they brought back David Tennant and they brought back oh crap, what's his name? Russell T. Davies, who was the guy that originally brought it back in 2004 and ran the show throughout all the Christopher Eccleston and David Tennant episodes. They brought him back because they know the show sucks so bad. So they brought back Russell T. Davies to run the show, and they brought back David Tennant to be the Doctor again.
The biggest thing what they need to do is retcon that shit just never happened.
And Russell T. Davies was public when that came out that he did not like the direction of the show. So my understanding, and I haven't watched any of the new episodes yet, is that he plans to change a lot.
Well,
the way I look at it, we won a war. We won a war against them, and we saved their ass in World War I and World War II. So I don't care about their sci-fi or their comedy.
Here.
Burn. Epic burn.
Can we put it at good, please? Can we agree on good?
That's fine. Put it at good.
I agree on good.
That's fine.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and counter the naysayers because I understand its place in history. Same as Star Trek. I'll give my upvote.
What do we got next? X-Files next. We got X-Files. Can I be honest with you guys? Like, I like this show, but for me, it's solid at best.
I would say solid too. It's a good show, but it was just kind of, I don't know, weird at times. And then, they tried bringing it back. They made that movie, which to me, that movie wasn't that good at all. And didn't they bring it back for like a season or so a couple years ago?
Yeah. I like it, but like it's nothing compared to all the rest of these shows.
No, not at all.
And it got me annoying to the fact how much like Scully just completely missed the supernatural events or alien stuff, and
just always was missing shit.
Yeah.
Detective. All right, so we're gonna go with solid on that one.
Yeah.
What do we got next? Babylon 5. So that one's meh, right, Jared?
No.
Yeah, meh.
Okay, so Babylon 5. Let's talk about this. To me, it's not epic, but good or great. Yes, definitely.
I'm gonna say great.
I'll say
we might be the only two in here that have watched that show.
I have a side question. You have to put all these pictures in here, or does it automatically do it?
Yeah, I had to put all these pictures in here.
Okay.
But the cool thing about it is this is now saved on the website, so anybody can go to this website now and look for best sci-fi TV series, and you will see what I made, and you can rank it however you want. That's what's cool about this website. It's called tiermaker.com. And once you upload something there with all the pictures and everything, like anybody that can then come back and use it and do their own little thing with it.
I think
made this
one of the things that could have made this thing from great to epic, if season 4 could have been done properly, and the current season 4 is actually the original stories for season 4 and 5 crammed into one season.
Yeah.
If they could have got to do the full length seasons with those stories, I think it would have been
flesh out the stories, yeah.
Fleshed it out and made it epic.
I will say great. Can we agree on great?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think I finished the last season of it, but what I did watch was a great show.
Yeah.
The season 5 was very weak.
It was. I still enjoyed it, but yeah, it was weak.
Well, a lot of the cast left because they thought it was canceled, and they went and got other jobs.
All right. Quantum Leap.
I fucking love Quantum Leap, man.
Unapologetically love this show, and I even love the last episode that was the finale. I know some people fucking hate it. I love the last episode, even though it wasn't supposed to originally be the last episode. They filmed that episode and didn't know they were getting canceled. It was supposed to just be a cliffhanger for the next season. I still love that show. I think it is great. Honestly, we don't get we haven't had a lot of, as much sci-fi as we've had over the decades, right? We haven't had a lot of time travel sci-fi. And we get time travel in other shows, but this was a time travel show that was done so perfectly, right? Like, it was just so well done.
It was.
Well,
I love this show.
Well, time travel is a hard concept.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I think I would be fine at it either great or epic, honestly.
I don't know if I'd put it at epic. I can understand, like, I love it, but I can understand why it wouldn't be epic. But I think it has to be great.
Yeah, I'd say great then. Great. It's a fucking... I love that show.
Did anybody try to watch the remake?
I did, actually. Yeah, I watched it. It had its downsides.
Just because...
It had its downsides, but it was still good storytelling. It was still well done. It was still very evocative of the original series.
What was the quantum?
I wish they could have gave some nods to the original series, though. Had mentioned Sam Beckett. They did.
Sam Beckett a lot.
Was it Al, his daughter?
Al's daughter is in the show. Al's daughter is in the show. She's a main character on the show.
When they advertised the show for a long time, they were saying that it's like going to have nothing to do with Sam Beckett.
No, it totally is. This is the exact same Quantum Leap project that they've picked up after Sam has disappeared. Al's daughter is in it. They talk about Sam Beckett all the time in the show.
Okay, I didn't really give it a chance because they pushed hard that it's going to have no connection to Sam Beckett.
Weren't they?
And Sam's not in the show.
I mean, they're going to say like this guy invented the technology and everything from the show.
No.
That's the way they were advertised it.
No, it's not that at all. They pull it. Sam Beckett is mentioned many times as the creator of Project Quantum Leap and created Ziggy and obviously what's his face? I'm blanking on the actor's name. Caldwell. What's his name? The guy that played Al. Anyway, he's dead, so he couldn't be in the show. So they have a character playing his daughter.
Sam.
No, the guy that played Al.
What's his name? His real name is anyway, but he played Al.
He's in Battlestar Galactica too.
Yeah, he's been in a bunch of shit.
Didn't he actually die like during or shortly after Independence Day 2?
I don't remember.
That's a different guy. Never mind.
I don't remember. He died sometime in the 2010s. I don't remember exactly when.
But was it one of the premises that they were doing on the remake? They were actually trying to find Sam.
No, it was teased. I mean, because they talk about Sam a lot and where he went and what happened to him. Thank you, TC. DC Dean Stockwell is his name.
That's it.
Dean Stockwell is the actor's name. But they talk about Sam a lot. It was, I mean, yeah, no, it wasn't teased that he was coming back. I do, however, think if it gets to season 2, they are definitely bringing Sam back. Because it was building up to stuff in the first season where you could easily see them coming across Sam. They even dived into the whole evil leaper thing and gave a little backstory on where the evil leapers come from and why they do what they do. Like, yeah, it plays into the original show a lot.
I'm gonna
Now,
have to check it out.
I will tell you, there's some woke shit in there too, so be prepared for that.
Nah, that's
In what way?
So,
I'm kind of curious.
Just be aware.
What they say?
No, it's not. There's like, yeah, it's not every episode, or anything like that. But there is stuff in there. Just if you can't deal with that, then don't watch it.
Well, I was gonna say, what, they got trans leapers or something?
If you can look past that, and just enjoy the parts of it which is most of it, the parts that tie into the original series, and just the time travel aspect of it, then watch it. But if the woke shit's going to turn you off, then
I feel like all entertainment should lecture you about the climate and your choices.
Yeah, climate leaping.
How do you pronounce Scott's last name? The guy that plays Sam Beckett?
Scott Bakula.
Yeah. I wasn't sure because I've heard it pronounced, a couple different ways, so I was never really sure.
Yeah. So, all right. I'm leaving that at great. Next one we've got here, The Outer Limits. Now, this is a show very similar to Twilight Zone. I love the original Outer Limits, but I'll be honest with you, when they brought that show back in the 90s on Showtime, it was like, and the original Outer Limits is great. It's very Twilight Zone-esque. But when they brought it back in the 90s, they did some deep, like, fantastic sci-fi storytelling, unlike most other stuff I've ever seen. So I'm including all of Outer Limits here because very much like Twilight Zone, it's an anthology series. So throughout the different versions of it,
I'm going to say epic.
I would definitely say epic. I would absolutely say epic.
The one of like the most like a ethological like conundrums like in technology too, when like basically you're with the transporting, you basically clone at another station. Your memories are uploaded and transferred, and there's an issue and the ethical decision what to do with. They didn't get the message that they received the signal and they got downloaded the new body. What do you do with the other guy? If they didn't get it, you're going to be murdering somebody.
Yeah.
And if not, and then by their laws, they can't have duplicates running around.
Yep.
And it was just.
I highly recommend. If you want to watch some of the best sci-fi I've ever seen, watch the 90s version that was on. It was, I mean, I don't know wherever you get on. I'm sure it's on the website and DVD and all that kind of stuff now, but like it was originally on Showtime. I think it ran, I want to say 6 to 8 seasons. I can't remember exactly.
I'd say it's fantastic too.
It's amazing. It's some of the best sci-fi stories I've ever seen.
Every episode, you're like, it puts you really thinking every episode.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's great.
I'm perfectly fine with it staying at epic.
Yep. All right. What do we got next? We've got Dark Matter from Sci-Fi. This was a show that was fantastic. I cannot, just because it never got a chance to finish.
What is it?
Dark Matter. Okay. Do you remember this show? We talked about it a lot on the shows. It only lasted, I think, 3 seasons before Sci-Fi.
Sounds familiar.
It ended on a damn cliffhanger, which pissed me off. This was the show where all these people wake up on a ship and they have no memory. And they start calling each other by number in the order they woke up on the ship. They all wake up in these cryopods and they don't remember anything. And they're on this ship called the Dark Matter. And none of them remember. They don't know if they're good guys, bad guys, anything like that. And the show, as it goes on, they all start finding out more about themselves. And anyway, I don't want to give anything away, but that's kind of the basic premise of the show.
I love the first season, and the rest of the show was
it. Yeah, I would say for me it's solid because it wasn't given a chance
Well, the first
it was a great
episode of
premise.
season 2, they kill off one of the main characters basically unceremoniously, like he's nobody.
Yeah. Well, and I don't want to spoil it as to why or who or anything like that, but yes,
No,
they did.
I just want to say the one of the main characters is
Yeah.
that kind of pissed me off.
Opinion on it.
That's one of the reasons I don't travel on spacecraft, though.
That's true. You might get killed off unceremoniously. For me, it's definitely solid. I think it could have been a great show had it been done right and been allowed to go on because the characters
Was
were
this
awesome.
from Europe? I don't recognize any. I'm looking at it on the pictures.
No,
I
it's
don't
not from
recognize
Europe
any
or
of the cast. I don't recognize any of the
It's
cast.
on the Sci-Fi channel. It's
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Is it worth watching? Is it worth going back? Because that sounds.
I think it is. Yes, I think it
The
is.
problem is I see a guy with a sword, and that usually is off.
Yeah, there's a dude with a sword. Yeah.
Sword in
Yeah,
space.
his name is Morgan.
Oh, I'm going to space. Let me grab my sword real quick.
Yeah, it makes sense in the show. It makes sense in the show.
one of the things too, though. If you're on a spaceship, you probably want to use bladed weapons.
Well, I'm just saying, like, hey, be careful of the wall. Hey, there's a hole in the wall now, guy.
Yeah.
Spaceships made of cardboard.
Yeah, hull breaches in space would be really bad.
That's what I'm saying.
All right, I'm leaving it there. Next up, we've got Deep Space Nine. Now, for me, the show is a meh.
Yeah,
it's a meh. Deep Space Nine is probably the worst Star Trek show that's ever existed. It's worse than Star Trek Discovery.
Yeah, it needs to be scrubbed from all existence.
I'm just kidding. I'm trying to piss Honda off, but apparently
I was
he's
going
not.
to say, are you trying to piss me off right now?
Well, Honda, I was getting pissed off at the same time, so.
I'll say this.
I would say that shit's S tier, but whatever.
Hey, I'm with you on that one, Honda. As much as I mean, it's still I have not really fully finished watching the show, but I could tell Deep Space Nine and the concept of that type of one, and the characters is the one I kind of like. That's more away from Star Trek. That I probably like more than my second would have been the Next Generation.
It's
Deep Space Nine is the space station one.
Yeah.
Space Nine.
For me, okay,
Well,
so
he
for
doesn't-
me, it's great. I
I
can't
would
put
say
it
great,
in
yes.
epic.
Yeah.
I can't put it in epic, but I can definitely say it's a great show. It's great.
Too many
great.
Ferengis.
They had like so many great seasons on that series, but it started weak, and the final season was. And where they did Terry Farrell so dirty,
Yeah,
it kind of ruins the last season because she didn't want to lead the show. She just wanted to reduce her like airtime per episode for like have a life.
Yeah.
Well, that's the break of showbiz.
Can we agree
on that?
They were having those people work like 20 hours a day, 20 hours a day shooting episodes.
To film
I vote epic,
no,
but
that's showbiz.
it's my vote. So there you go.
Well, we all get one veto.
I would definitely put it at good or great, preferably great.
What does veto mean?
I count
It
epic.
means you get one
you can
chance
move
throughout this whole process to move something from one category to another.
But everybody else can unveto it.
Yeah, if they want to
I'm
use
going
their
epic.
one veto to undo your veto, they can. But that's everybody gets one. Everybody gets one. I would
What if
recommend waiting till the end before you decide what one you want to move. But
What if you use your veto and then you leave and then come back in? Does that give you another veto?
then you don't get another veto. That's it. You done used it.
Veto loophole.
So
Well, I don't know. What are you putting it at?
I'm putting it at
I'd
great.
say great.
What's above great?
Epic. That's the only thing above great.
Well, I just came in and I already have my veto, and I see it right here.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. I'm putting epic for me.
As for the Expanse, as good, the fuck?
Yeah, I'm
That's
gonna
where they
veto
started
right
with. They
here.
didn't know where to
actually.
start.
I'm gonna say this,
So
but as far as sci-fi shows go,
Uh-huh.
I can't think of a better show. I can't think of a more solid show from beginning to end. Yes, season 1 had some misses. There were a couple of episodes that missed, but it was the first Star Trek to have like an overarching long form storyline about the Dominion Wars and all the other things that they did. And that was new for Star Trek. That was new for TV. Like, they didn't think that people would be able to handle that kind of storyline, and they were taking a huge risk by doing it instead of doing the regular episodic Star Trek shit that they always do. And at the time, people gave it a lot of shit because it wasn't the Star Trek that they traditionally know. However, if you go back and watch it, it holds up. It holds up really well over time. The stories are really good. The character development's really good. Like, it's a solid show almost from beginning to end. And I would even say season 7, the last season, was still solid, even though they got rid of Jadzia Dax. So,
is
yes,
that your veto?
So I say epic.
Okay.
So you're saying it belongs at meh.
No, and I'm with you a little bit on this part, Hun, because I've watched TNG. TNG got a slow start, too.
Yeah.
I don't think they need to use their vetoes because not everybody voted. You know what I mean? Like, if you only had 2 people vote and it's sitting in a slot, like Expanse, you guys
Well,
just put it there.
we had already come to an agreement.
Okay.
That it was great.
Okay.
But he can use his veto if he wants.
I feel like he wasted his veto.
All right, we're going to go to the next one. There's still time. Everybody's got more vetoes. Honest use his. All right, Lex. This may be a show I am the only one who may have watched this show.
LEX?
LEXX.
Yeah,
Lex.
I watched it.
Sounds familiar. I think I might have
Okay,
watched it.
Jared, you watched it. What do you think of this show? I love this show. Now, for me, I would put it right where I dropped it, which is in the good category. I don't think it's great or epic.
I did not watch this show. It's weird.
I'd put it in solid.
You'd put it in solid. I'll defer to your judgment. It is not a great or epic show. I would have put it in good, but I'll go with solid. I still think it's a must watch for a sci-fi fan.
I mean, if you have to rank shows on how much they look like a giant sack of testicles in space, then I would say it's at the top of the list.
Well, yes.
The show was better when it was on Showtime. It's one of those ones that didn't do well when it went to Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah, it moved over for that last season, which is when they went into the other universe. And anyway,
what's the show in a nutshell? I'm just looking at the pictures, and there's this goofy.
The show in a nutshell is it takes place in
That's
another
the bullshit.
universe different from ours, almost like a different reality from ours, but it's a futuristic sci-fi universe, and there's like this big evil empire that runs everything, and the main characters are this chick who was turned into at the first episode, she's kind of mixed with a little bit of lizard DNA to basically become a sex slave. And
that makes sense.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a good way to start.
It was an accident. She got mixed with that.
Was an accident, yeah. But she was she was supposed to be a sex slave, and then her and a guy that worked in the manufacturing plant end up stealing this ship called the Lex, which is the largest, most powerful ship in the universe.
It's a planet.
And they also end up coming across. Was he on the ship? What's his name? The dead guy.
Kai.
I think Kai was on the ship, wasn't he? He was like frozen on the ship. He was in like suspended animation. or something.
He was actually turned into this. He was his homeworld was destroyed by the shadows, the shadow, and he was one of the fighters against them. And he was, they basically turned him into a killing machine.
Yeah, but he's technically kind of like a zombie.
He was sent to kill them, but he got his memories restored, so he turned on the shadow.
Is this mid-90s?
But he has to stay.
No,
He's only got so much of the fluid that keeps him alive.
It says aired in 1997.
He's only got so much of the fluid that keeps him alive, so that he has to stay in like a sleep chamber, like freezer.
Yeah, because he only has so much time when he's awake, right?
Yeah, until they get for that fluid, he has to conserve it. So they put him in cryo.
Is this like a Cleopatra 2525 quality show?
It's not that. No, it's not that bad.
Okay. I'm just looking at the pictures, and it looks like a Xena Warrior Princess type of show.
It's a little. I mean, yeah, Xena Warrior Princess, but not Cleopatra 2525. That's way easier and cheaper. But
yeah, way cheaper. Okay.
But yeah, I would put it on par, like production quality wise, of like a Xena or something. So, yeah,
not as good as like Firefly.
No. No.
Is it
was an
worth
okay
going
show.
back and watching it? It sounds
Again,
worth watching.
You know, I liked it, but I will freely admit I haven't watched it in a long time. It
Same
may
here.
not be as good as I remember. Do
Well,
we want to
just,
go, Jared? Since you're the only other one that watched it, would you drop this down to a meh?
For average people, I would say probably a meh.
Meh. All right, we're gonna put it in meh. There's our
I've
first
seen
meh.
it, but it's been
almost
so long.
every single picture I'm looking at on the internet, she looks like she's in like a cheerleader outfit. So
Yeah, she basically.
yeah.
Well, there's two
Nice.
actresses that play the character. The she gets killed, and this creature like eats her essence, like the goo it's left from her, and reforms her into the new actress.
Yeah,
Nice.
The first actor is only on the first season.
Yeah, and
That's
at the
the
end of
blonde
the
one?
first season, she's basically
That's the
killed.
blonde one. Yeah, she's only in the first season.
She's basically killed off. Then they bring her back as a new actress. It's supposed to be the same
Redhead.
person, and
Gotcha.
she's still got the alien DNA and all that.
So, all right,
I feel it's a good idea to recycle alien
You should.
reptile DNA like that.
and especially if
Yeah.
they can be recycled and they come back hotter, like that's always a plus. All right, what do we got next? Andromeda.
Oh, that was a good one.
Good.
Oh,
Andromeda
I don't
is
think I ever
definitely
watched
like a Xena, Warrior Princess, Hercules Legendary Journeys level of production quality.
Yeah.
Was that
But-
Australia? Those were all Australian production places.
But I don't know where this one was filmed, but those were all filmed in New
or was
Zealand.
that maybe Canada? Canada does everything.
This one, Andromeda, I think was filmed in Canada, but this was
This
definitely
must
a
have
lower
been mid '90s. I don't remember.
But
this
it was late '90s to early 2000s was
Yeah.
Andromeda. I would say
Night
it did have,
Strike's in here.
it did have yeah.
Yeah, I've watched all of these shows, by the way.
There you
all.
go. I would
Well,
say
you made all the actors from the show, so
No,
I'm
I
gonna,
didn't make.
I'm gonna go put a tie on. I'll be right back.
I would say Andromeda has lower production quality than a lot of these other shows, but a really, really strong story.
Well,
Oh, yeah,
actually, the CG was pretty good in Andromeda.
For when it came out, it actually was pretty
with the
good.
ships when they did the ships and whatnot.
Yeah.
The CG was pretty good.
So
Yeah.
my question again: is it worth going back and watching it? I don't think I've ever
Yes.
seen any of them.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, that one,
Yes.
yes,
And I would say personally, I would leave it right where it is at good.
yeah.
I don't think it's
I
quite
agree.
great or epic, but
It's
it's good.
well,
It's really good, and it's
My,
definitely
my
worth
opinion, it's borderline great, but only borderline.
yeah, I have to rewatch it. But I think for me, it's just good.
Yeah.
From what I remember myself from watching it.
The only thing I didn't like when they got rid of Tyr, how easily they killed him off, and
Well, Tyr was the best character on the show.
They didn't really
Yeah.
kill him off. He went and became some sort of leader for his people or something.
no, they killed him off.
Well, eventually they did. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that one
when
chick on
he was
there
a bad guy, they even got rid of he was basically not even a Nietzschean at the time. They killed him off. He didn't even have his forearm blades anymore. He cut his hair off because the actor got tired of the hair because it was actually giving him headaches. It was so heavy.
Yeah.
That one chick on there, was she android or was she
She wasn't. Is she?
She was the ship. She was a holographic representation of the ship that they later made an android body for her.
okay, yeah.
Yeah,
So
They
she
did
could
that.
actually leave the
But
ship.
they actually became two separate entities eventually.
What if you put
Yeah.
some of that robot or that reptile DNA into that cyborg body? What happens?
She's fully cybernetic, so you can't.
Like sex
Yeah.
slave it up?
Nah. Wrong
Maybe.
show. Wrong
Cyber-
show.
Sex Slaves from Mars. That's the name of a movie right there. Somebody write that shit.
No shit.
G-Webs,
All right,
get
we're
on
leaving-
it.
We're leaving this one at good. We're leaving this one at good. Next up, we've got Stargate Universe. This show I absolutely love, but it got cut off way too short. Ended on a cliffhanger. Canceled after 2 seasons. Pisses me off to this day because it was really damn good.
And
Hey,
left
hey,
at a
ju-
cliffhanger too.
I
yeah,
just
it was
looked
a
up
darker
Andromeda.
version.
I just looked
Ah.
up Andromeda on Amazon Prime, and it tells me this video is currently unavailable to watch in your location. What's up with that?
Oh, that's too bad.
That's when you go to the website. But
What
Yeah.
show? What are you talking
The
about?
R made the
Andromeda. I mean, why would they do that? Is that because it's from another country?
no,
no, it's
just-
because
I've never
they just,
seen
don't
that.
have they just don't have the rights in America.
You can watch it on
Yeah.
IMDb TV. You can watch it there with commercials.
Okay.
No,
Oh,
it's
really?
free.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
All right. Well, enough about Andromeda. Damn it, we're talking about Stargate Universe. God
did not
damn
like
it.
Universe.
I loved this show. I just don't think I thought the 2 seasons we got were fantastic, but it did not. I mean, it ended on a cliffhanger. There was no major story plots that had been resolved because it had just gotten started. It was only 2 seasons in, and that does hurt the show. I would, if it's me, as much as I loved it, I would have to put it at solid because it was just getting off the ground.
I agree.
Same here. I agree.
Is there anything that holds?
It's one level below Atlantis because at least Atlantis had some resolution at the end of the
Yeah.
end of the
Atlantis
series.
got a full story with Atlantis.
Well, spoilers if you haven't watched it, it's been years, but eventually they brought Atlantis home.
Yes.
The one of the things that I think hurt the show too, though, I could not stand the senator's daughter. I don't know why she was pushed to be a main character on the show.
Yeah. The 2 best characters on that show were the doctor and what's her name? Ming-Na Wen. I forget her character's name on the show.
Yeah.
She was like the diplomat, politician, whatever she was, or something. I can't remember what she was. Yeah. Anyway, she was a great character. And the doctor, played by Robert Carlyle, I'm blanking on his name on the show, but he was a fantastic character. He was a great character on the show. Because he wasn't a bad guy, but he wasn't a good guy, and he'd do shit, that like kind of fucked everybody else over. But like in the end, he was usually right about everything.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. All right, so we're leaving that at solid. Just because it didn't get the resolution.
You got a super chat.
Okay. Well, we'll get to this in a minute. Kowloon says, read my last chat. Just got here, found out that Johnny Hardwick, the voice of Dale Gribble, died the other day. Yes, he did.
Yeah.
He died the other day. Yep. That is true. We heard about that.
Damn.
All right. Star Trek Enterprise. I really do like this show.
Great.
I really liked it.
But I do see why some people don't. The 3rd season, where it's all about the war with, or the coming war with the I'm down blanking on their name. What's the name of that? The Xindi.
Klingons.
Was a big step down from the first 2 seasons.
Yeah. The whole Xindi stuff was terrible.
Yeah,
it was just a big step down. And then on top of that, the ending, when the ending of that show was not great. And I know it ended that way because they got canceled. They were supposed to be going into season 5, and they got canceled. So they threw this last episode together, but it just wasn't a good last episode for a show.
I do want to mention the Mirror Universe episodes they did for Enterprise was the shit.
Oh, those are great. I love those episodes. Those 2 episodes are fantastic.
And I say that because especially like some of the Mirror Universe episodes they actually did an alternative intro for the whole for the series too. So it was good.
Oh yeah. And what sucks, it only got canceled because the current person that took over the network hated Star Trek.
Yep.
It didn't get canceled because of ratings.
It had good ratings. It had good ratings. It was a good show. Its time bracket.
And what's funny, the same douchebag is one that greenlit Discovery.
Yeah.
That pile of shit. You can take pile of shit meaning whichever one. They're both pile of shit. Former head and the Discovery.
Well, with Discovery, I say the first 2 seasons I did like.
It would have been a lot better if she pulled the trigger in that first episode when she's pointing the phaser at her head, holding it backwards.
But then after that, it was just no more Klingons. Like Klingons was just all wiped out in Discovery for some reason.
Because they were universally hated what they did to the Klingons.
Spoiler alert here. Star Trek Discovery is not on this list. Just throwing that out there. I didn't even.
This is only good shows. So
this is only good shows. Yeah.
Which one's
for me? Look, for me, Star Trek Enterprise is good, but I understand why some people would say it's solid. So I'll let y'all decide. Is it good or is it solid? It's certainly not meh.
Good for me.
It's
it was great for me.
I think putting it in good or great would probably be best.
Nah, I say good. personally. I mean, it was a good show, but it wasn't great.
All right, I say we'll leave it at good. We'll leave it at good.
It did have the hottest Klingon. I mean, not Klingon. The
Vulcan.
ever.
Yes,
The hottest Vulcan.
ever. Period.
Yes.
Yeah,
No
but she was no 7 and 9. Let's be honest.
Where is
No,
that? one?
hell no.
Better, way better than 7 and 9.
No,
way
no.
better.
No.
Yes.
No.
No.
Where is
I didn't know who you're talking about with the Vulcan, but I will still disagree because 7 and 9 is just.
She wasn't even
hot.
better than Deanna Troy. Come on.
Where was
Oh,
that show?
she's a hell of a better than Deanna Troy.
Hell no.
7 of 9 is my like childhood boner, so you can't fucking. talk
Yeah,
shit
no
about
shit.
that.
Jerry Ryan was
7 and 9
fucking hard.
is number 1. Then I would say
Jerry Ryan still looks good.
Number
Yes, he
1
does.
is 7 and 9. Number 2 is Troy. Number 3 is Kira. Then number 4 is Hoshi. And then number 5 would be her.
What about Dax?
Oh my god.
Yeah, you're missing
Dax
a lot of people.
Fine, I guess. I don't know.
I mean
maybe
Jadzia
number
Dax.
6.
I don't mean the other one.
Yeah, I'll put Jadzia at 6.
All right.
She's number 6.
Dana
Number
Troy
six
is like
ball.
I would bump down way low. I've met her in person. She's not that good looking in person.
Wait, who?
The Troy.
Oh, she
Hang
was.
on.
She was in the 80s.
Yeah, she was.
That's
good to
when
me,
my
baby.
young mind remembers her.
Oh, she was in a porn. You can look it up. You can find it. You can
No,
see
it wasn't
her.
a porn. It was she was topless in a movie.
Okay, whatever. Same difference.
Porn.
You
Oh,
can
she
see
can-
No, it's way
Artistic
different.
piece.
There's
I'm
actually
about to
stories.
body-
where
Like that right now.
Bro, her body not so great, Al, and her tits
So-
also
Yeah.
not so great.
She's still Deanna Troy. You can go fuck yourself. Okay.
So this last one you're talking about,
Terry
where does-
Farewell was a model.
this last show that you're talking about, where does it fit in the universe, like compared to Star Trek? Was it before or after?
Star Trek Enterprise is like before. It's the first.
It's before Archer.
first
This
Enterprise.
was the one where they first go into space and get approached.
When they first
by
go into
the
space, when
Klingons.
Starfleet is first formed, there's not even a Federation yet.
It's the
Okay.
first Enterprise.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't think I've seen much
It's
of that
before
show.
it's before the United Federation of Planets. It's before like it actually was a star.
So you guys said it's decent, but it's because it didn't conclude,
No,
so it's
good.
worth.
I would
watching
say
to
it's
trust
great.
it. Okay.
You watch it for it's a Paul. Period.
I would say it was great too. But
Okay.
Hoshi was better looking than T'Pol.
Oh my
what are you talking about?
You got to, if you're going to do something like this, you got to have pictures.
Ah,
'Cause none of us have
Jesus.
seen all these people. I can't remember.
Jolene Baylock still looks good too.
Not as good as Jerry Ryan.
None of you are picking any of the people in the new movies, I'm guessing.
no.
No. All right. Oh shit, my thing's jumping around here. All right, next is Stargate SG-1. To me, this is epic, but
I think so.
Definitely.
Yes.
Epic, yeah.
Epic,
I'm-
yes.
Yes.
I'm willing to take criticism on that, but to me, it's definitely epic.
No, it's
Greatest
we got
sci-fi
right there,
shows
yeah.
of all time.
it's
Does
got Richard
anybody-
Dean Anderson. It's epic.
It spawned how many?
3 other shows.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
more
For
than
the
that.
fact they actually worked in, we had a MacGyver
In the
assistant
movie?
to work.
There's a cartoon, isn't there?
There was a cartoon, very short-lived cartoon.
It was a bad cartoon.
I didn't
I
watch
never
that
watched
cartoon.
it, but
I watched it. I suffered. Don't watch it. Save yourself the suffer.
For the fact they actually worked in the very first episodes, like we had a MacGyver assistant to work with the gates.
Yeah.
And he just looks
I'm
at
just
her and
saying,
like,
Am I allowed to like the movie more than the TV show, or is that?
no, the movie's fantastic, but the TV show's better.
I mean, I just only watch the movie. I hardly ever watch any of the TV shows.
Even
Whatever
with
that chick was
SG-1,
in it.
they did a couple blooper episodes where they were filming it, and
day-
she's like Carter was like, "You're MacGyver. Just use a piece of bubble gum and a shoelace to build an aqua reactor."
No, to this day, one of my favorite episodes of television of any show is the time loop episode of Stargate SG-1.
Oh yeah.
oh yeah,
That is one of my favorite episodes of television. Period. End of story.
that's probably one of the best uses of a time loop too. Like we're
yes,
and
It
they
was-
just started goofing off.
yeah.
Yes, especially the golfing into the Stargate.
I love that episode.
That's
I love
So
that
in
show,
the-
but I love that episode.
In a nutshell, I've seen Stargate. At least I remember the show. And I've seen the movie. What is Atlantis to Stargate?
It's
the
just,
second series.
It's the second series. Takes place in another galaxy. They gate to another galaxy and then get stuck there. Essentially, on
It starts on Earth.
They were trying to find Atlantis on Earth, and then they found out it wasn't on Earth anymore.
And so they found a gateway to Atlantis, but it was in another galaxy. And then when they get there,
it starts on Earth with a new.
It starts on Earth, yes.
Okay.
It starts on Earth at the Stargate Command Center where the other show takes place.
Oh, okay.
Actually, well,
Well,
yes, but it starts in Antarctica.
Well, it starts in Antarctica, but they go through the fucking Stargate in Stargate Command.
Right.
And where did you guys end up with that one on the list here?
For me, that's Stargate SG-1 or Atlantis.
No, Atlantis.
We got Atlantis as good.
Good. Okay.
You don't have to go back. Okay.
I can deal with that.
I don't want to keep going back. Okay.
But I've got SG-1 as epic. Is anybody going to argue with me on that one?
No.
Okay. Good.
Just no.
All right. Then we've got a newer show, Mandalorian.
With SG-1 too, I do love the episode where cast from Farscape were coming in part of the regulars of the show.
Yeah,
they were showing like alterations to the timeline when they transform into Farscape characters, but they're all playing. They're dressed up as different versions of the. They're not playing the characters they were.
That was an episode they were doing for a TV series. Yes.
Oh. Yeah. All right, Mandalorian. I kind of put this right where I would keep it, which is good.
I want to say epic, but I'm going to defer to your judgment.
I'm gonna say
I'll go great.
I would go up to great. It is not epic to me.
No, it's
I
not.
would say good or great.
I'm gonna say if it wasn't for the last season, I would put it at great. But since the last season happened, I would have to put it at good as of right now.
What are you talking about? The last season was awesome.
No, it wasn't.
But
Yes,
if we watched any of this in the
What are you
1980s,
talking
we
about?
would put it as epic.
The last season where we finally got to see like fucking armies of Mandalorians going head to head and fucking killing shit and blowing shit up was fucking awesome.
The horrible guest appearances, him keep kissing both.
Okay, the one episode was bad with Lizzo and Jack Black. Yes, but that was the only bad episode.
I have to ask.
Keep kissing Bo-Katan's ass through the whole series.
You
and it
made
was mainly about
Bo-Katan
her.
the leader of the Mandalorians. How many fucking times and how many fucking times has she lost it?
And it was the Bo-Katan show, not the Mando.
Well,
Mando.
Bo-Katan is a badass.
Not Din Djarin.
Bo-Katan is a fucking badass. She can whoop the shit
losing
out of
the
Din
dark
Djarin.
saber and losing the leadership of the Mandalorians. So what does that?
I don't care. She is a badass. She's a great fucking character.
She traded. Well, last season she was lied to. She didn't lose the dark saber. She traded it to supposedly spare her people, and Gideon lied.
I would say story aside, we get like essentially a Star Wars movie every week or whatever. So the special effects and everything, plus we're getting to see more of the universe. I think it's great.
Well, going forward, they already said like she's going to be basically the main character. Like his story arc's basically done.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that. Bo-Katan's a great character.
Yeah.
I had no problem with Bo-Katan. I'm saying certain things that they implement in that show is like, there's some good moments.
I would say I would say good or great. What say everybody else?
Good.
I'd rather put good.
I haven't seen it.
Great.
You get so much sci-fi, and it's keeping other Star Wars as
more
well.
great than good, so it gets moved up to great. All right, we're almost done here. TNG, epic. Do we need to have a conversation about this?
No, move on.
No, we do not.
Like you said.
We're moving on here. A show I loved, V, from the 80s.
You can't
I
hardly
have
watch
watched this show in the last few years. It still holds up, even though it is 80s special effects. This
It's
show
so hard
is
to watch, though.
It is hard. I mean, it's the 80s special effects. I get it.
No. I mean, like, it's never available. Like, it's always they say places. It's just never places, and it's hard to find.
Well, here's the thing. Did the show?
And isn't V the show
version?
that introduced us to what's her face? Damn, I never can remember her name. She plays Deadpool's girlfriend.
Yeah.
No, that's the remake that came out in like 2011 or 12 or something.
It wasn't that good.
Yeah.
V
And
from
that
the
one you definitely can't find. I've never been.
V from the 80s was a series of TV movies that then got a couple of seasons of actual show.
Beastmaster was in V.
Wait, well, I'll answer this one because you saw the '80s one. Did the '80s one ever ended? Completely ended?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I know the other one didn't.
Well, it ended, and then there was some
Well-
like other movies or something, like made for TV movies or something, wasn't there?
Well, the remake too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The remake didn't really fully ended.
Her first,
It got canceled.
most people's first introduction to her was Firefly.
Yeah, she was on Firefly before V.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, was V in the 80s? Wasn't it like a mini series? Or
It was a
regular
mini series that became a regular series.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that how it worked? Okay.
Yeah, it was a mini series first, and then it was a
It
regular.
was
series.
just super popular, and they're like, "Oh, let's keep doing that."
Because
It's
I
on the-
remember the mini series. I don't know if I
for
remember
for
the
me.
regular
I'm just going to tell you right now.
series.
For me, it's great, but I'll let everybody decide.
It's on the website.
Yeah,
It's,
it is.
to me,
Cool.
it still holds up. I still love watching that show.
I don't have
Because
Me
it
in
was
the
not-
80s.
It was
Oh.
not. It was
I got-
done very. It was honestly, and a lot of people watching this right now would get this. It was very evocative of like Nazi Germany, and very evocative of what happens when the powers that be come in and take over the politicians and take over all the rich people, and have their own plans and are pushing their own agendas, and it's people fighting back against that. And the storyline holds up to this day.
No, that kind of stuff doesn't play out in real life, though. This kind
No,
of
it doesn't play out in real life at all. None of that stuff ever happens.
No, never.
Plus, the whole idea of lizard people controlling everything makes
Yeah,
sense.
lizard people controlling
nothing about no
politics
lizard people.
and rich people.
No,
that
that would never happen.
never happen. Never, ever, 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 ever.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay. Do you understand that? Turn the friggin' frogs gay. Serious crap.
So V
Wow.
had to be taken
Damn
off
lizard
this tier.
people.
So V had to be taken off this tier because it's not sci-fi.
It's not sci-fi. It's just real life.
It's a documentary.
All right, to me, it's great. Is anybody going to argue with me on that?
No.
No.
Okay.
Because
All
I
right.
remember that time in the 80s when it came on as a mini series. It was huge when I was a
Yeah.
kid.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Everybody watched it.
Yeah, the website's got the miniseries and the actual series.
And then they had that other series in the '80s. Was it Alien Nation?
Yep.
Different.
Actually,
Yep.
I actually
yeah.
like the Alien Nation. It's movie first too.
Yep. That was a good show too. I actually like the show better than I like the movie. All right, next up, last one here, Star Trek Voyager. To me, is great.
Yep.
Yeah.
To me, it's great. It's great.
To me,
It's
it
not
was meh.
epic. It's not TNG. It's not epic, but it is fucking great. I love this show. Huge fan. I think it holds up. I've watched the series many times, and I absolutely love it. Does anybody want to argue with me on great here?
Nope.
No.
It was meh for me,
No.
but I don't remember it that much, so I can't
All right.
argue with it.
Well, there we go, guys. We have finished.
It went from
How many was this?
Voyager went from good to great when we got 7 and 9.
Yeah, the
So can I
first
use
two
my veto now?
seasons. The first 2 seasons of the show were a little rough, mostly
I hate it.
because it just kept bringing back the Kazon over and
I was
over
getting ready to say like the case on
over
sucked
Yeah.
ass.
and they were just not good villains. But still, in the mix of all that, there were some really good episodes in those first 2 seasons as well. So, anyway,
Or the Kazons also look like the dude from like the Ancient Aliens series.
Voyager is the girl, Janeway.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I use
All
my
right.
veto now?
So we have we have our list here. Now it's time for everybody except for Honda, because he already used his veto, to use their veto on whatever they want. They can move anything from anywhere on here. You get one, and that's all you get. And we're going to go in order according to how I see you guys laid out here in StreamYard. So Corey, you are first. Where are you using your veto?
Falling Skies, move it to Epic. I have a
Really?
lot of fond
Falling
memories
Skies
with that
to
show.
Boom. Boom.
I have a
that
lot
just
of fond
happened.
memories of watching that show with my
Okay.
mom. And we
Oh,
watched
okay.
some too before she passed away. So I have a lot of fond memories with it.
And nobody can do shit about it unless they want to waste their fucking veto. So
Yep. If you want to waste your veto on it, yeah. All right, Gwebs, what do you want to? Where are you going to use your veto?
Me, if we're gonna look at it from now that we can, I was like, I don't really care. But then I was thinking, all right, since we're able to adjust based on where everything else fell in line, I kind of want to throw Firefly to Epic because I
throwing
it's really
Firefly
good.
from great to epic. All right.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Firefly's going up to epic. All right, Tim, what about you?
I can't say that I want to change anything.
You're
Unless
good
somebody
with how it
moves
is.
something I don't like.
Okay. All right. So, well, if you want to wait till the end, see what everybody moves, and then if you still have your veto, if you want to change anything, all right.
I was honestly kind of hoping someone would use their veto and move D Space Nine to just to piss off Honda.
I'd go more than pissing off Honda. That pissed me off too, because.
All right, yeah, Jared, it's your turn.
Think of all those times you didn't get enough ranch.
Should I? Fallen Skies to great.
Falling Skies to great. All right.
I was nice. I didn't drop it down to me.
Wow.
You're dick. You're dick.
All right. All right, Shot Red, you got a veto. Where you laying it?
Okay, is TNG epic?
TNG is already epic, yes.
No, I mean not TNG. I mean Deep Space Nine.
Deep Space Nine is at epic, yes.
But I ain't want to move nothing.
All right. No movement.
No,
there.
you have Deep Space Nine. Yeah, you got it.
Deep Space Nine is epic. It's up here.
Yeah.
Did you confuse Babylon 5 with Deep Space Nine?
No.
All right, Leo, what do you want to move?
I heard Shot Red say he wanted to move it to me, so.
All right. It took Matt and another person named Groovinator, RIP, to convince me to keep watching it. And that's The Expanse. I want to move that to good to great.
All right. That's where I wanted to put it in first. But
I don't think anybody really complained. Nobody was.
I fully agree with that one there. We got a super chat from Saloon says, somebody used their veto to put Mando in meh.
Yes, please.
Yeah, no.
All right, Nice Strike. You got your veto. Where are you going with it?
You guys are gonna get pissed off. You're gonna get pissed off at me, but I'd say put Babylon 5 to epic.
Babylon 5 to epic. Jared will agree
Because
with you.
I watched every single episode of that series. I've got it all on DVD. Okay, I love that series.
Yeah, I got it all on DVD too.
And the
I
movies.
have it all faxed to me.
All right, let's see. It's my turn now. Everybody can just chill. Here's the thing. I love all these shows, and I pretty much agree across the board with this list. There is one, however, that I am going to move. And everybody can suck it. For me, Doctor Who is epic.
I can agree
Always
with that.
has been,
Yeah, I
always
can
will
agree.
be, even through some shitty seasons. It's epic. It's one of the best sci-fi shows I've ever seen in my life. Doctor Who gets moved up to epic.
David
All right.
Fallen Skies back to epic.
You can't because
Wait, I just noticed there's no Battlestar Galactica on this list.
There is
That's what I
not.
was
No,
saying.
he
I was
missed
waiting
so
for
many,
Battlestar Galactica.
shows.
Dude, I picked 28. What do you want me to do?
I mean,
How many? Well, first
we
off,
got
can
too
you
many
throw me a
contracts
link
I
on
to
can't
the
tell
the
you
list.
if PSG was on this list, it would be epic.
you didn't have first wave on this list either.
Can you throw me a link to this website? It's free, right?
It's called tiermaker.com.
TEAR.
TIER maker.com. And you
Okay,
can
before we move on from this, though, there is something I like to say.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to Doctor Who and the Outer Limits throughout time that is on, for me, as far as watching them, although I really like their shows when I watch them, there's always hit or miss 9 o'clock Tuesday night.
Not anymore.
No, not anymore?
No, it's
Bummer.
hiatus.
Anyway. So anyway, I just want to throw that out there.
All right.
And also, the first Doctor Who I remember seeing was probably in the 70s, I guess.
Yeah.
It was a light-haired, curly-headed dude. So
Was it the dude with the scarf?
Since the 60s. So, yeah.
Or the
Yeah.
dude with the hat?
The dude with the hat.
I think he did wear a hat, but he's a.
You got an ad blocker running?
I just
Does it
remember being
really-
a light,
ad
kind of a
blocker
light
running?
brown, curly-headed dude.
All right.
Whichever one that was.
Light
Several
brown
Several
Yeah.
wore a hat,
That's
but
what I
if you
remember
had curly,
anyway.
curly brown hair. That'd have been the Tom Baker, the Fourth Doctor.
Yeah.
So who's next?
That's it, man. We're done.
That's it.
Yeah.
We got through all of them. And you're right. I did forget BSG.
How is original Star Trek just great?
Because everything that came after it was better. Like TNG, DS9, Voyager are all better shows. As
And it
good as it
wasn't
was,
woken up,
and,
really,
and
dude.
as much as it was the beginning of all that, they were all better shows.
They could have been so much more.
Well, Voyager and TOS is both great, so they're on the same par.
You also didn't put Warehouse 13 on this list either.
I did not. I got to 28, guys. Okay, I had to stop at some point. All right.
Well, it took 2 hours to do 28.
Well, I mentioned it because they did a crossover with Eureka. So
yeah, I get it, but I had to stop at some point. Okay.
And they got to mix two artifacts together and make a lightsaber in that crossover too.
Yes, they did.
There
So
you go.
speaking of crossovers, I watched that cartoon one that mixes with the other one that's woke. That was pretty good. The Star Trek Lower Decks mixes with the woke Star Trek.
I love that.
Just know, Jared, I hold grudges.
Well, I am when we paint. Did you not want the Ghost Rider bike? What? It's in the mail to me right now. I was like, what? Did you not want that one?
Okay, grudge over.
Gutted's in the chat has a great point. The River Song was the best storyline. I loved River Song.
Mm-hmm.
Throughout her entire, like, she was with 3 different docs. She showed up first with David Tennant. She did most of her stuff with the Matt Smith Doctor, and then she finished off with the Peter Capaldi Doctor. She was one of my favorite characters in all of Doctor Who history. She's a fantastic character.
I liked Clara Oswald.
Clara was fine.
You know, the Impossible Girl.
Yeah, I get it, but like
she was better
Amy
during
better character.
Clara was written better during the Matt Smith era.
Matt Smith era, yeah.
When Peter Capaldi came along, they completely changed her writing, and she got to be kind of a terrible character.
I think for Matt Smith, Amy Pond was the better companion.
Yeah,
I think David Tennant's best companion was Donna. Donna was awesome.
The final scene with Matt Smith where he sees Donna. What's funny about that scene? They're both wearing wigs because they both shaved their heads for movie roles. She shaved her head for Nebula, and I forget what he's did. I think with the Terminator Salvation or something.
Yeah,
he was one of the Terminators. Yeah, I think it was Genesis.
Genesis. That's it.
Anyway, we made it through, guys. It only took an hour and a half, but we got through
good, though.
Fantastic sci-fi shows that everybody should be watching.
Yep.
I'm very happy with that. I feel like we accomplished something. I don't know what exactly, but we accomplished something.
I would like a text version.
I know.
Of
I
this
definitely want to watch.
email to me.
So there you go, guys. Well, look, we are almost 2 hours and 20 minutes in, so I think we're going to wind this one up for today. I intended to do more tonight and talk about some more stuff, but we've gone on for quite a while.
There is a big toy convention going on this week.
There is. PowerCon is going on this weekend.
Yep.
So that's a big thing, which hopefully we'll get a lot of news out of that we can talk about next week. I was looking, and I was going to do like toy news tonight like we've been doing, but like because PowerCon's going on right now, there's just not a lot of toy news yet. There will be come tomorrow and Monday. Oh, I am going to show off the stuff I picked up at Quinn.
Yeah.
I picked up actually these two right here. I picked up a I'm going to take this off the screen. We don't need that anymore. I'm going to put me on the screen. I picked up a Star Wars Black Series original Cal Kestis.
Ooh.
I like that character. We got Cal Kestis there with his lightsaber. And I picked up, is this Python Patrol? G.I. Joe? Is that Python Patrol, Jared?
Yes, that is Python Patrol.
Python Patrol. He had those loose. for a good price, so I picked those two up. And then I did pick up another G.I. Joe earlier this week at Target, which I think this may be out of the box the best G.I. Joe out of the classified line that I have ever seen. And that is Rock and Roll.
Oh, nice.
He is awesome. This is a great figure. He's all tatted up. He's got the devil horns going. Like, this dude is awesome. This may be the best G.I. Joe, like straight out of the box that I've seen.
I will warn you with when you change his hands out, when he comes alternate hands, be very careful because they made on that figure alone. The rest of them are usually pretty good. They made the hinges really thin. I actually ripped one apart.
I already changed his hands out because he doesn't come with the devil horn hands on him. Yeah. I had to swap that one out. I didn't swap this one because then how is he going to hold his gun? But
yeah, the gun holding one you got for the right hand, it's the gun hold hand. I broke the hinge, popping the hand out.
Oh shit!
So you broke his dick hinge.
Yeah.
Well, I'm leaving him like this. So
plus it's got vertical hinge too, so it's good for that dick hinge motion.
Got that nice dick hinge motion. I love that. Anyway, that's a fucking great G.I. Joe. So I picked up those things. So that's what I picked up this week. So just throwing that out there.
While you're showing off stuff,
what did you get? Shipwreck.
I got my
Shipwreck. Yeah.
Nice. I had him on classified. I pre-ordered and I got him.
Now we're Shipwreck buddies.
I like him.
Ooh, you got the parrot.
Oh,
he is a cool figure.
He is a great figure, man.
I bought two.
Well, I only picked up one.
I did have to kind of laugh though with the painted on hair on his chest.
Those are some nice semen you got there.
Tee-hee. I was gonna take a picture. I was gonna take a picture of Shipwreck bending over gung ho just so I can send it to Duke.
Ooh.
Just to show him a Marine getting plowed by a Navyman. So, ooh,
a Navy.
Very nice. Is that the one you were working on?
This is the one I restored. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh fuck yeah.
That thing's. I remember. I so wish, like, I had a couple of those, or one or two. I can't remember back in the day because we, used to find them at garage sales in the 80s. And I'm sure I totally trashed it.
This thing's probably giving many kids back in our era like black eyes because this thing will launch across the room.
Oh, really?
Yep.
And this one will launches too. That's very sharp tip.
Maybe sharpen that. Put a little steel tip on it.
Yeah. Make it a lawn dart launcher.
We can shave that. We can cut those down, and I can put real blades on those axe arms.
Well, that's true.
So how many of us out there have scars from fucking lawn darts?
I managed to never get hit by a lawn dart when I was a kid. We didn't play lawn darts.
I was going to say, I managed to never get hit by one either.
Nope. Only you, Corey.
Yeah, well, I guess so.
Yeah.
And I used to have lots of fun going out in the yard and throwing them straight up in the air and watching them. They started coming back down. They moved.
Just don't watch them
doing stupid shit like that. I remember my freshman year of high school. This is long after lawn darts were gone, but we were in our speech class, which was in the auditorium. So downtime we would explore the back of the stage and everything. A couple of friends of mine, we found a dart board. Instead of playing darts, we were throwing the darts up in the air and having them stick in the fucking the floor. But then we started playing where we put our foot out, and whoever was last in wasn't a pussy. Well, I was the last one to stay in, and that motherfucker sunk right into my big toe bone.
Oh.
And yeah, it was stuck pretty good. I had to give it a good yank just to pull it out.
Woo.
You can open this up.
Nobody uses those.
That makes my toes hurt. Just thinking about that.
Mine too.
Yeah.
Ugh. Well, anyway.
I got
all right. Well, it is time to wish everyone a farewell and adieu, Alvita saying goodbye. I almost bought this, dude. I don't know. I'm tempted. See you guys next week for more Geek Chat next Saturday. I got videos coming out this week. I got to drop all the videos I've got because I bought most of the new Spider-Man Retro Wave. There's a couple. I didn't buy Rose or Tarantula. I want to get Tarantula. I don't care about Rose, but I haven't picked Tarantula yet. But
next week too, like before an hour before this one, I'm going to be doing a 4,000. I'm at 4,200 now, but I'm going to do like a channel celebration giveaway, toy giveaway.
Oh, nice. What am I winning?
You have any Spider Gwens?
I got one Spider Gwen. Yeah.
The giveaway, I'm going to do a Marauder barbecue. I got the Storm Thunderbird 2-pack.
Nice.
That's for US, and there's a couple items for Canada too. I got a Black Knight with a custom softgoods cape, and the Herald Thor with a custom softgoods cape. Don contribute those. I send them to Dom, Bulk Smash Customs. That way he can ship them up there. So if anybody wins up there, I'm not paying crazy shipping to send to 2 different people. He can ship them.
There you go. He can ship them out. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get out of here. We will see you guys next time. Have fun. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And yeah, that's it. I got nothing else. I got nothing else, people. That's it. So later, guys.
Later.
Live long and
wait,
prosper.
Wait. I got to do the end outro. Sorry.
Shall not be infringed.
Bye.